for trial in the first term of next year. The court heard that it's Magudumana's extradition case, which he's taken to the Constitutional Court, which is holding up the trial. Magudumana is challenging the lawfulness of her extradition from Tanzania and is appealing a Supreme Court ruling against her. In September, state prosecutors promised to write to the Apex Court, informing justices of the delays being caused by the appeal that's been brought before them. Khomza Modise, Eyewitness News in Bloemfontein.
Activists say urgent funding is needed to ensure survivors of gender-based violence receive the support they need. Commemorating the 16 days of activism, NGO Philisa Abafazi Bethu, together with the Social Development Department, launched a new shelter for cisgender men and members of the queer community in Cape Town. The new shelter received more than 500,000 rand. Activist Lucinda Evans says the cause could use more help and funding from the business community.
We need to see the emergency funding happening, and we need funding as well with these two services that we are running. Now we want to say to businesses that they need to help and support these services in terms of funding.
She says hospitals and courtrooms have also been approached to refer victims of gender violence to the organization.
But what we want, the other gap is in trauma rooms where the male was assaulted or the LGBTQIA plus person was assaulted and have not gone to Tutuzela. There is the other service, which I'm publicly asking, please send the clients if they need the help.
And Deputy President Paul Mashatile says South Africa won't boycott the G20 Summit in the U.S. next year, and it will continue talking to American counterparts. But Mashatile says the G20 in Miami will be less rigorous than the one that was held in Johannesburg because it will be toned down with fewer guests. Mashatile made the remarks yesterday during an engagement with the Parliamentary's Press Gallery Association. Baba Lundenza was there.
Paul Mashatile says the country's relations with the U.S. could have an impact on the economy because it's South Africa's biggest trading partner on the continent. He says South Africa wants to participate in next year's G20 despite threats by the US to not invite the country.
We will continue to engage with them, and as I said earlier, we are preparing to participate. We have not raised the issue of boycotting the G20.
He says the G20 in South Africa was more intense than what is expected in the US.
I guess what may happen is that the G20 in the US may not be as rigorous as the one in South Africa. For instance, I've already heard that President Trump says he will not invite guests.
Mashatile added that the economy remains resilient despite US tariffs. Baba Londanza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Gold is trading at $4,221.04 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 to the dollar, 22.62 to the pound, 19.76 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.15 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through poles of slow-moving traffic on Witkoppen Road between Stonehaven and Main Road, also slow-moving traffic due to roadworks in the Calvin Alex area. This is on the N3 in both directions between London Road and the Butlu interchange.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The breaking story in EWM this hour: chairperson of the Alexandra Taxi Association, Vusi Mayaba, has been killed.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Six minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to it. You're on 702. My name is Thabo Shoda-Mashao. In for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12. It's great to have you on this Friday, the 5th of December. The year is just about to expire, 2025 that is, and I'm hoping that it was a fruitful year, productive. It had its ups and downs, I'm sure, and we get into that point where many of us will be reflecting. The bodies are starting to complain, fatigue is kicking in, and the mind is also saying, hey, you need a little bit of rest. Is that how you feel right now? Well, today we have a great show for you as usual, and I'm hoping that you'll participate. Call us, send text messages, send voice notes on social media, X, Facebook, Instagram, and elsewhere. You'll also participate. Speaking of which, speaking of social media, guess what? If you are 16 years and below and you are the resident of Australia, or you live in Australia, or you are in Australia, you won't be allowed to access social media, or it will be illegal for you to access social media simply because they are passing a law on that. I'll speak about that a little bit later on, as I would want to canvass your views as a South African, if that is exactly what you'd like the country to go towards, that direction of banning or making it illegal for 16-year-olds to access social media. But back home, very quickly, I'll come back to the Australian story, but back home very quickly, there is, I suppose, counting underway now, subsequent to an election that was held for the ANC regional head in Johannesburg. The contest is between Dada Morero, the incumbent, and Loyiso Masuku, who happens to be the Deputy Regional Secretary of Johannesburg, of the ANC, that is, the African National Congress, that is. So the contestation is the one within the African National Congress. And in a short while, I'm hoping sometime during the show, we'll be able to cross to Alpha Ramoshwane to give us the latest on who has been elected. As soon as we have those news, we will be the first to give them to you. That is very important, and you may ask why. Ahead of the 2026 and possibly 2027 local government election, it will determine, perhaps to a large extent, who becomes a mayoral candidate. If not that, it will determine the power dynamics within the ANC in the region, provincially and also nationally, because Johannesburg is the center of power. It is a hub of activity, not just the economy. It's also a hub of influence. So whoever gets that, they would definitely want to become the mayor of Johannesburg. At least the candidate to become the mayor of Johannesburg, although it's going to be a very heated contest, I am assuming, in 2026 and 2027. As you already know, Helen Zille has also thrown her hat in the ring to say that she's available, and many other people. I think Kenny Kunene is also throwing his worth there, saying that he wants to become the mayor of Johannesburg, and many other individuals. So I would love to hear from you about that issue, and I will give you the very latest as it unfolds. And I think it's taking place somewhere in Woodmead on the other side. What's the suburb just on the other side of the road, almost the auxiliary or the service road, if you will, of the M1 North and M1 South, Mike 1 North and Mike 1 South. There is a conference center that side where all of this is unfolding. So we'll chat about that. I'm sure it will also be of interest to look into. So, amongst other things, I had wanted us to reflect a little bit on Mlanga Commission. We cannot, it's their last day today. They'll be going on a break, and they will be on the 17th of December issuing an interim report. I think that interim report is going to be scathing on a number of individuals. Brown Mohotsi, if I were to put my head if I were to put my neck under the guillotine for that one, I suspect that Brown Mohotsi is not going to be glittered with confetti. His name as it appears in the interim report. I am just speculating at this point. I don't know what the report will entail, but those are the people who didn't necessarily present themselves very well or in glowing colors. Senzo Mchunu as well. I don't think the minister on special leave has managed to achieve the reputational harm, reputational management or damage control that he had wanted to do by appearing. He did not do himself any favors whatsoever. I also think Dr. Imogen Mashazi, I think that the report won't be glowing on her as well, and a number of other individuals, but you can share that with me. Feel free to do so. And speaking of the Minister on Special Leave, he was there yesterday. And I don't know if you were following yesterday. And he presented some very interesting arguments. There was a point where he was trying to redefine the meaning of immediately. Abel, I know you don't want to play it now. First, I have to say, it's 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. Abel, the show has officially begun.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Now we can begin officially. Abel is the master of the studio here. Now we can begin officially. And I was just reflecting on, I thought that was a rather pedantic, and the minister could have dealt with the matter in a different way. But he decided to be rather petty and to redefine what immediate means, and to hide behind the small, if any, difference between effective immediately and immediately. I think, in my humble opinion again, Commissioner Mlanga, he executed himself excellently. He was a gentleman and a scholar. He played that role beautifully without necessarily being aggravated and without necessarily badgering the witness or someone who's on the stand. He really carried himself with dignity, even when he asked very serious questions. So the exchange I was speaking about went like this. That's if you missed it.
It is you that acted immediately.
Maybe let me put it like this to explain. It doesn't say, for instance, with immediate effect. It says immediately, meaning this decision has been taken immediately.
So the way I'm sitting, I think the two mean the same.
But in the context, especially when you attach the preliminary report, which is not required as of 31, it is required for another date, and then the UNESCO, it clearly sends a message that this immediate is not like switching off. It's not like whoever is driving.
Minister, when I studied or was taught English in my younger days, they would say an adverb. What does it do? It modifies a verb, I think, and an adjective qualifies a noun. That's the grammar I was taught. So your immediately is an adverb. So which verb in your sentence does it modify or does it relate to? That's where I want to be sure of what exactly you mean. Because as the sentence stands, it follows immediately after the verb disestablished. And ordinarily, I would read that to mean that you want the task team disestablished immediately. So the immediately relates to disestablished. So that's what must happen immediately. Now, with those views and a little bit of grammar insofar as I understand it, can you try to explain and make me understand your use of immediately?
It says immediately, yes.
Yes.
But then, because I understood that immediately is a process, it denotes a process. There would definitely be a process which the National Commissioner needs to speak to or respond to. It is immediately, but pointing to two futuristic events. The preliminary report, if you like, you would say, oh, okay, it's immediately, but not before the preliminary report.
Having said all of that, you still didn't consult the National Commissioner. Having said all of that, you still did not consult the National Commissioner. It really bothers me when we have high-profile individuals who are tasked with literally running our lives and protecting us as South Africans. And they carry themselves out like this. It could be that I'm the only one who sees a problem with this. And please feel free to call in and put me in my place if I'm wrong. I would have expected more from the minister. Here he is saying that it immediately denotes a process. If then it denotes a process, why then rush on the 31st of December when we are all worried about braai meat, some cold drinks, some wine running out of stores, and who are we hanging around with that night? Why worry about terminating or disbanding the PKTT on the 31st of December? You could wait for the 15th. You could wait for the 30th. Simply also because the commissioner, the National Police Commissioner, is on leave. You could wait till he comes back, invite him to your office. I mean, even until June. You could easily wait. But on the 31st, it must be done right here, right now. And coincidentally, air quotes, coincidentally, just as Brown Mokhotsi had intimated to Kat Matlala that this would be the case, that the PKTT would be disbanded. I don't know what you think. Feel free to give us a call on 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702, or send a voice note or text message to 072-702-1702 with your thoughts on these and more. But that was not the end of it. There was also a very interesting part where there was an exchange between Commissioner Madlala together with the Minister on Special Leave, Senzo Mchunu. Very, very interesting. Before I even touch on it, I don't know if we have it, Abel, you'll give me a heads up when you're ready. Because I thought as the exchange was going on, the commissioner was right on point. Commissioner Madlala was right on point about the minister not having done a thorough consultation. And he asked him, what kind of a relationship did you have with the National Commissioner Masemola, General Masemola? And he said, we had a brilliant, a great, a wonderful, I'm paraphrasing, those may not necessarily be the exact words, but he was saying we had a good relationship with. If you have a good relationship, even if you didn't, but if you have a good relationship with the commissioner, why don't you take him into your confidence? He is the one who sets up task teams. He is the one who is responsible for making sure that those are executed. And the exchange, if I remember it very well, as I was listening intently to it yesterday, Commissioner Madlala was saying, yes, the president might have precipitated as a directive their instruction to constitute or form the PKTT. But it had to be effected by the commissioner. And Minister Mchunu was insistent that no, General Masemola had nothing to do with this. It was the president who and subsequently the interministerial committee that was responsible for this. Yes, but the commissioner is central to that. There's no way in legislation or in law where the president can just constitute a PKTT like that within SAPS Act at least, as far as the arguments were going yesterday. But I'm very worried. I'm very worried about all of this. But one of my colleagues was saying earlier on Ray White's show, standing in for Bongani Bingwa, that there's still something missing in all of this. It is a true smoking gun in this matter as far as Minister Senzo Mchunu is concerned. There are some flaws, there are some procedural shortcomings, but a smoking gun is still missing, right? There isn't something very tangible that we can point to and link him to, as opposed to Julius Mkhwanazi, who also made his last appearance yesterday and we then discovered that he had received 70,000 rands from Manyathela for various activities, including petrol money, including paying for supposedly the funeral of a sibling, and every now and then Manyathela would give him some money. And the evidence leader, Advocate Sello, was very meticulous in spotting that this money also conveniently came at the time wherein the MOU had to be signed in the city of Ekurhuleni, which would legitimize the relationship between the city and Manyathela's company. All this has been very exciting, and it makes me think, myself included, and I'm sure you'd be the first to remind me that I was not very keen on a commission, but it has revealed much. And we must eat humble pie, especially those of us who are not very keen on having this commission, who felt that the president is just wasting time and hiding behind. I think we must eat humble pie. If you want to join me to eat that humble pie, feel free to do so on 011-883-0702. 16-year-olds, it's the 5th of December today. By the 10th of December, Australians who are 16 years old won't be allowed to be on social media. I'm wondering, is that the direction that South Africa should take? Listen to this. And let me just give you a heads up as to what was said exactly. It could be that I'm not phrasing it properly.
In 1 week, Australia will become the first country in the world to ban under 16s from having social media accounts. With one law, we can protect Generation Alpha from being sucked into purgatory by predatory algorithms described by the man who created the feature as behavioural cocaine. Through one reform, more kids will have their time back to learn an instrument or a language or walk their dog or master a torpedo punt or the perfect lob pass. Teenage addiction was not a bug, it was a design feature. And on 10 December, there are going to be withdrawal symptoms. Teenagers will be upset, some will fight to get back on, some will manage to find their way around the tech and keep their accounts. But I truly believe the short-term discomfort will be worth the long-term benefits. Information gathering and enforcement powers lay with the eSafety Commission. But what you can expect on 11 December is that eSafety will send notices to the 10 platforms we have named in our dynamic list. These notices will seek evidence, including how many underage accounts they had on 9 December before the law started and on 11 the law started. Those platforms will have time to reply before the next round of information requests are sent out, asking for updated numbers every month for 6 months. The government...
Yeah. And I'm wondering if South Africa should also consider that, given that so many of our young people are consumed with social media. And whilst it is a powerful tool, and I don't want to be an extremist or play a zero-sum game where I demonize social media platforms altogether, there are some great things that have come out of social media. I know that kids, including my son, times he uses YouTube to study, to understand certain concepts a little bit better. But do you think that this is headed towards the right direction, as Australia will forbid 16-year-olds legally from participating in various social media platforms? And is that the route that South Africa should take? I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. That and much more. 25 after 9.
Hi, 702 lenders. Danny here. Immediately is immediately. And Nohan, I mean, this guy, Mr. Mkunu, was a teacher by profession. I wonder, if he cannot understand the meaning of immediately himself. Maybe that's why he left teaching. Hi,
Thabo. This is Anonymous. Hello to the listeners as well and the team. Thabo, you must remember that when you are in trouble or you are smelling trouble, you'll say anything that will make you get out of trouble. Whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, but the plan is to go out of the mud. So I think that's what's happening here.
I suppose so. And I'm also very keen in knowing from you as the Commission will be taking a bit of a break from today. How does it fare? How did it fare for you? Did they do a good job? Where do they need to improve? The questioning between those who appeared before the commission and the commissioners, the evidence leader. How did they do, according to you, out of 10? How did they do? I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. And of course, because it's a Friday, you would know that we have Gratitude Friday. That is still on the table, on the open line. That is still definitely on the table. Anything that you're grateful for, we're happy to hear from you on 011-883-0702. I also wanted to posit something on a lighter note. I was having a business dinner yesterday with some colleagues, and one lady then said that she had stopped drinking champagne, or she didn't want to be associated with champagne anymore. And she said that, of course, she loves champagne and she understands champagne and she's been drinking champagne. And the reason for that is because champagne has become so popular now that it's associated with slay queens, and every single person around claims to love champagne and to be a champagne drinker now. So she's excusing herself from that elite. And it made me wonder, other things that have become problematically popular that you don't want to be associated with anymore. You love that thing, but because then everyone jumped on board and it was unnecessarily popular, problematically popular, and to an extent where it turned you off. I'll give you my example and I'll own my truth. The Crocs. I don't own a pair of Crocs simply for that reason, because the Crocs became problematically popular. So I choose to excuse myself. I love them. They look so comfortable. I wish I could wear them. But because now every single person is a Crocs fundi, I thought, let me take a bow and remove myself from that. And as we were chatting about this with the producers, one of our producers here, Zintle, said, there are other people who'd also say that they don't shop at Woolies anymore because every single person now shops at Woolies. And she calls that elitism. And elitism as in it's now for an exclusive group. And she says that people like that are problematic. People like me are problematic because now that we are joined by many other people in doing something, we want to remove ourselves from that particular thing. Do you feel the same way? I go as far as songs, by the way. There was a beautiful song by Tony Braxton that I loved, Unbreak My Heart. When it came out, every single person loved it. And it was playing everywhere. So I stopped loving the song. I gave it a break. And when people stopped loving it, and then went back to it. Is that wrong? Let me know. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, just leave your voice note on 072-702-1702. That's on a lighter note. I know someone is going to call and say, the country's banning, but you're talking about useless things. That's on a lighter note. Over and above many other things that we're speaking about. On a lighter note, if you want to comment on that, you're most welcome to do so. It's exactly 9:30, Abel. And that means Sfiso Zulu is standing by to give us the very latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning, Sfiso.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Gauteng police suspect the killing of Alexandra Taxi Association boss Vusumuzi Mayaba could be linked to the ongoing violence in the industry. Mayaba was shot last night after leaving a restaurant in Woodmead. His death comes a few days after two taxi association owners from the same organization were shot dead in Midrand. Deputy President Paul Mashatile says the ANC has suffered a financial blow since political parties have been required to declare their private donors. This amid reports that the party is once again struggling to pay its staff at its Luthuli House headquarters. Speaking to the Parliamentary Press Gallery Association yesterday, Mashatile said the ANC has appealed to the Finance Minister to increase state funding to political parties. And U.S. President Donald Trump and the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a peaceful deal in Washington as fighting continued in eastern DRC Congo. The U.S. has also signed deals on critical minerals with the two countries during the meeting with Rwanda's Paul Kagame and the DRC's Felix Tshisekedi last night. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you're driving through Rivoli on the N17 eastbound, you can expect delays. This is between the N1 and Nasrec Road. We still have those roadworks in the Calvin Alex area causing delays in both directions. This is on the N3 between London Road and the Between Change. If you're traveling towards Bedford View, that's leaving Edenvale. Expect some delays on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Giluli's interchange, and traffic lights still not working in Edenvale at Morafontein Road and Van Riebeck. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
I'm a Zulu, but I find myself between Abesutu and then I had to go to the initiation school for 3 months. We do that in winter, not in summer. Lately, the Department of Health has intervened. I think we have to accept, or times have evolved. We still keep our secret, but we accept the help by the Department of Health. I think that's going to be the only solution.
I could not agree more, Tulani. No parent is sending their child to the mountain to die. That is never the intention of any parent. They're sending their children to the mountain in order to become men.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
The Maibuye Africa concert, the rebirth of Ubuntu, returns for one unforgettable night only. Simpiwe Dana, Judith Sepuma, Malé, Langa Mavuso, Elvis Blue and Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, backed by a 20-piece orchestra conducted by Grammy Award winner Joe Arthur, curated and produced by the visionary Billy Monama. Opera House State Theatre, Pretoria, Saturday 6 December 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets from 350 to 1,000 Rand at Web Tickets, proudly supported by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and Brand South Africa.
Selling your car to We Buy Cars is easier than most things, actually. Ready for an offer? Complete the form on webuycars.co.za and you're already halfway there. The quickest, easiest way to sell by far. On the hunt for your next ride and your next adventure, We Buy Cars makes it simple to find your match among 12,000 plus vehicles. Whether buying or selling, visit We Buy Cars.
This festive, turn your family meetings into family eatings with the Nando's Festive Fill-Up Meal. A full flame grilled chicken, 2 sharing sides, 4 cheesy rissoles, 2 Cabo Societies, 2 Nando's rolls, and a 1.5-liter Coca-Cola for only $3.99 to enjoy at your place. And if your family meeting is at our place, get 40 Rand off. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Mzansi, be in it to win it by playing Powerball for the life-changing 70 million Rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 70 million Rand jackpot today, and your dreams could become a reality. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Standard Bank and 702 have joined forces to bring you China Unlocked.
One of the most recent examples of this is the signing of 2 very important MOUs whilst we were at the Chinese International Import Expo, which in itself is quite an exciting event to help expose South African and African products to China. We signed an MOU and with the Chinese Chamber of Commerce for import and export of machinery and electronic products. What that helps us with is it helps our clients connect directly to equipment manufacturers and manufacturers of electronic products in China. It cuts out the middleman, and what better way to do that to help our clients get direct access to the equipment and technology that they need to do that.
Don't miss China Unlocked on 702 Drive with John Perlman. Tuesdays on 702. Brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
702 indeed. Welcome back. 24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Let's go straight to your voice notes.
Good morning, Thabo. For me, it was a Kavela. Listen, Kavela Yo, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning, morning, 702 listeners. As for me, is the Uzi type of dressing. You know those hoodies. I like them very, very, very much. But when I realized that most of the criminals that I saw in the country's courts, they used to wear those Uzi hoodies. So for me, it was just a let off. So I thought maybe it's a criminal kind of dressing. So yeah,
So you
Uzi
left.
for me. Jerry in Katlo.
Good morning. When you like something and you leave it because it's become common or popular, is that not reverse elitism? So you were elite because you were a small group, then everybody hops on, and it's no longer elite, so you don't like it. Are you not the elitist to start off with? Mike on the N1.
Mike, no, bro, no, Mike. It's got nothing to do with elitism. Zentla was saying this. It's not. It's just that at times you feel like I just don't belong in this group anymore. Let me make a practical example about something that is not that expensive and you can't claim that it's elitism. So I used to love, anyone who knows me, I used to love wearing All-Stars. I'd wear a pair of All-Star on any given Sunday and twice on a Tuesday. I loved All-Stars and I still do. But as soon as everyone jumped on buying All-Stars and they were available at all stores, I don't want to mention the store names and whatever else, as soon as they became so accessible that even people who were not in the township language, Ditleva, were wearing All-Stars, I realized that it's my cue to go. Every single Tom, Dick and Harry was wearing All-Stars now. Even people who are not worthy of wearing a pair of All-Stars, you would see that this person, Soga, they should never ever come close to. And All-Star had something about it. Only certain people had to. I left All-Stars and I miss them like crazy. I mean, I wish I could buy myself a pair. And I had something with All-Stars, a great relationship that every time I wore All-Stars and I went to the stadium, especially FNB, and watched Orlando Pirates would just win. That was my thing. But I stopped All-Stars because every single person was now wearing All-Stars. So is that elitism? Oh, I don't think so. Maybe it is, I don't know, but feel free to let me know. 011-883-0702. Mlanga Commission. Malibongwe, you wanted to say something about it. Welcome. You've been holding for some time. Welcome.
Good morning, Chavo and listeners. Man, I wanted to just give the Mlanga Commissioner 11 out of 10 or even 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, those are two patriots, man.
Mm.
You know, I must say their names. Advocate Mashabe, Advocate Sesi Baloy, Advocate Sandile Kumar. You know, those two ladies can tell a lie before you even say it.
Yeah.
I like their game playing. You know, on day one, they let you fool around. You think you've got them. Then the following day, they dismantle you one by one until you concede that you liked everything you liked. You concede. They dismantle it one by one.
Yeah.
You know, I hope Zondo is taking notes. I hope Sesika Pembe is taking notes because the Zondo Commission was so useless. I'm sorry if I can use that on radio, but it was so useless. I hope he's taking notes. And the current Sesika Pembe, I hope she's taking notes as well.
I think she's doing a brilliant job. Justice Sishampe, I think she's doing a fantastic job. I don't know if you've been following, and she's been holding people to account, and she's been very firm and fair at the same time. I think if you've been following it very closely, she's doing a brilliant job. The Zondo Commission, there'll always be, I suppose we won't see eye to eye on that, but I hear your point, Malibongwe, and I don't want to dilute it. Thank you so much for your call, and please stay tuned to 702. Obet, thanks for your patience. You've been waiting for some time. Welcome. The floor is yours.
No, thanks so much, Bratavo. My comment is basically on the stance taken by Australia in, barring or blocking under 16s from accessing social media.
Yeah.
I don't want to generalize things here. I'm afraid of being a generalist. However, look at Tabo. I want to look at things from the perspective of our local communities vis-a-vis those guys who are in upper affluent areas. Now, you really said a very good comment that, look, sometimes from social media, indeed, there are very good things there. We all agree. Like you said that, like your son, for example, he goes to YouTube to learn new concepts and everything else. Absolutely. Now, let's just remember from the voice note that you played from Australia, that lady said, let us remember that we are looking at longer-term objectives and benefits than the shorter terms. Shorter term is basically barring someone for 16 years, but then after 16 years, one can have access to social media. Now, let's remember this, Tabo. You and I, we grew up in a time we did not have social media, but we made it.
Yes.
Even though we did not have access to YouTube, but we made it. Now, we're saying also to our children, for now, just don't go there. If we made it, surely they will make it. Remember now, teachers now, they've got even better ways of educating our children than our teachers who taught us those years ago.
Yeah.
And let's remember great inventions from aeroplanes, from computers, all these things were invented before social media was there. So I really do stand with them. And now, coming to the point of not generalizing, let's remember that those folks in the affluent areas, their children, they're not only stuck on social media, they've got more activities that they do. Now you come to our black locations. When a child gets a cell phone with internet, they're there the whole day long. Why? Because they don't have anything else to do other than just being on social media. So I feel and I see that eventually those negative impact tends to be more heavier in our black communities, more than the affluent. I don't want to generalize, but it's the thing that we see.
Yeah. To what extent, though, Orbit, because we must also learn to read the signs of times. And as much as you and I grew up under that particular era, we must know that our parents did not also enjoy what we enjoyed. And that also propelled us forward, or in your words, made us to be who we are today. Remember, we were not stagnant. Even when we were growing up, we were not living like our grandparents or our great-grandparents. There was some bit of evolution, and the motion and passage of time necessitated certain changes that exposed both you and I to things that our parents and grandparents didn't have. Shouldn't we allow our kids the same latitude to also indulge in what is now available? And the key issue should be my role and your role as parents to be able to monitor, instill values, and make sure that this tool does not become a monster in their hands.
Yeah, just a small little additional there. Let's remember this is called fourth industrial revolution. Whatever the revolution is, Tabo, we must know that there are some victims. It really will change things for the better, but we don't want our children to be the victims of this.
Yeah, but I said evolution, not revolution in this instance. I don't want to sound like Minister Mkunu arguing about immediately and effective immediately. But I would assume that But now go ahead before I say goodbye. Yeah,
absolutely. I think you just nailed it. No, thanks so much. Excellent.
Okay, thanks, brother. All the best. Orbit in Rosebank. I've been neglecting to read some of your very interesting text messages that have come through. This one says, Tabo, I used to love hiking until COVID hit. Now hiking has become a groove of some sort. People even go there with mobile speakers. And this comes from Lerato in 4 ways. I agree, Lerato. Yeah, hiking is also one of those. It used to be a bit nice, but now everyone does it. It's become something else. It has evolved into something else, right? Hi, Tabo. For me, it's the tattoo. I regret getting mine all over. I look all over. I look everywhere. Oh, I see. She says, it's my fault. I didn't read it properly, Dennis. Forgive me. You say, hi, Tabo. For me, it's tattoos. I regret getting mine. All over I look. It's just tattoos. Very interesting. Morning, Tabo. I passionately hate All Stars shoes, Uzi hoodies, Dickies outfit, and VW hatchback. This is Daniel from Vanderbilt Park. Morning Tower, the black leather and soft soles grasshopper shoes. I still relate to the gangsters here on the Cape Flats. I prefer the new style grasshoppers. George in Cape Town. George, I feel you on that one. I really do. Hi, Tabo. There's an element of elitism in what you are saying. Whenever there is an establishment, maybe restaurant that is now frequented by black people, people will be saying it's now ghetto. Please, good people, remember there's always someone better and less fortunate. No, and I'm not even saying it on basis of race at all. But I hear your point. I hear your point very well. It's not lost on me. I get that and absorb that. And if it comes across as that, I apologize. It's not intended to be that way. For me, it's not even about there are too many blacks here, let's go somewhere else. I don't subscribe to those politics. And I think if you've listened to my time on air, you would agree, you'd disagree that I don't subscribe to those kind of politics where we say you want to be the only black at a dinner party, like that book written by Eric Mieni, Omandingo, The Only Black at a Dinner Party. No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to be the only black at a dinner party. I'm saying the Crocs. It's not only black people who wear Crocs, white people, everyone. That on its own for me is a put off that it's now become a public entity. I do want some things to somehow relate to people that I share commonality with. If it's for everyone, then I'm like, oh, okay. But I get your point, ne? I get your point. It's not lost on me. And I can never, ever advocate for the only black at a dinner party. I'll never, ever do that. I actually believe that if you are the only black at a dinner party, you must kick the door and let others walk in. But your point is not lost. It's 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. Keep those coming through. I'm loving your messages. They're amazing. 011-883-0702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
1 to 3 p.m.
What are some of the things that you think people can be doing during this time? Even not being Christians, we know that Christmas is usually reserved for family.
True. So the important thing for me in celebration of Christmas will be to honor Christ. Number 2 will be for families to come together for food and fellowship. Number 3, it will be to express love to one another. Number 4, to show gratitude. In whatever way you can do that, it's not limited to any other way. But let it be a season where we are showing love, gratitude, and unity and living together.
Pastor Masisi Tebalo, who's a biblical commentator.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
We did it once and it was big. We did it twice and it was bigger. Now the Motor Select Demo Deal Dash is even bigger than ever before. And it's happening this Friday and Saturday only. Get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist on over 1,800 demo models from 26 leading brands. Backed by SA's largest and leading dealer network. 2 days only. Visit motorselect.co.za to shop the demo range now.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Those trusty old shoes, there for your first move out of home. That marathon training that lasted a day, the quick runs to the store, the long nights out. Yeah, they've done the most for you. But with the Street Store, they can do even more for someone else. Visit thestreetstore.org to find out more about donating your pre-loved shoes and clothes to the world's first rent-free pop-up clothing store for the homeless. Donate before December 6, 2025.
702 was in conversation with Wits University on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
The big problem with African science is that there's not a lot of local discovery.
Right.
And we do a lot of translation from abroad, but nothing local. And we know that we're not good at manufacturing vaccines, drugs, pharmaceuticals, diagnostics. And so what we're trying to do is we're bringing a whole group of scientists together, interdisciplinary scientists, people who have got pharmacology background, people who are vaccine experts, people who understand immunology, virology, and cancer. I mean, putting them together in this BioHub, and we are hoping that this interaction will be catalytic. And we have all the building blocks at Wits University. We have drug platforms, we have vaccine discovery. So we have a whole lot of things that we can integrate.
Visit wits.ac.za to learn more about the Wits BioHub, where science, technology, and collaboration come together to transform Africa's health landscape for good.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Let's go straight to the voice notes, Abel. I haven't been paying some attention to them. Let's hear what 702 lenders have to say.
Hey, good morning, Tavo. It's a funny topic. I'm here from Randburg. For me, it's a Cavella. So we had like a couple of pairs,
Yes.
myself and my wife. And then as soon as we moved from Pretoria to Johannesburg, we actually realized that it gave us out that we're not from Johannesburg. So a lot of people looked at us and asked, are you from Pretoria? Just purely from wearing Cavella. So we gave those up. Yeah, new pairs, literally have to keep them up.
Good morning. Commenting on the lighter note, unfortunately, I just got into the car and I'm about to drive off, so I didn't have the time. Although I thought maybe I should just Google the difference between elitism and classism, because I think they probably invoke different reactions and emotions in us. I totally get, staying away from a song because now everyone is busy with the song. Some are probably even butchering the poor song and then going back to it because you are like the true fan.
Yeah.
Which is different from now, catching feelings, because now everyone or more people are having access to, a certain shop, like you are saying, Woolworths, because maybe we were thinking it's for a certain LSM. That's more on the gatekeeping side, and people will even get angry. Now this restaurant, now everyone is golfing. I think that one, comes with more of a mean spirit than just saying, you know what, I'll let everyone go crazy over this movie and I'll go when the cinemas are less full. That's my 2 cents with Lerato here.
Hi, Tabo, Tommy here. Oh, my man, the Golf GTI. Oh, I love the car. I had 3 of them. I had the GTI 5, the 6, the 7.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, the stigma that goes with it, you can just imagine. And as you're growing older, I still love the car so much, but I can never go back to it. But, it had a very, very bad stigma. Even when you approach a woman when driving that car, they'll tell you, you GTI guys, you love women. So I had to always explain myself that I actually love the car for what it does, not for other benefit. But it was a great car, but now I had to let go. Thanks, Tabo.
Hi, Tabo and the 702 lenders. For me, it's more about reputation, more than it's about what actually how many people are involved or how many people like that thing, how popular it is. It's more about reputation. If it has a bad reputation, I disassociate myself. I cannot be drinking Savannah because of the reputation that it has. And Cavella, there's this shoe, Cavella. I had it back in, I think, 2003-4 when I was doing my first year back then. And after that, it just became popular, and in a not so nice way, because someone once said it's a cheap, expensive shoe, and I agreed, and that is the reason why I will not be buying a Cavella. Some people wear it and I see it looking good, but uneasy.
Yeah. No, just like me, I'd never buy a Cavella. They must forget about me. There's no way I'd be caught in a Cavella. Forget about me then. Lerato, you're raising a very interesting point. I completely am with you 100% on that one. There is an element of mean-spiritedness when you don't want other people to partake in something simply because you believe it's elite. And that's not what I am advocating for. I mean, many years ago, I wrote a post about Woolies and saying that it's not that we are following any race or any class by shopping in Woolies. It's because we also want amazing things. We also want good things in life, as simple as that. And so I agree with you 100% when you say that. And of course, again, with my All-Stars example, if you know South Africa, and I think many of you would agree with me, unless you're just trying to pick a fight, our All-Stars were mainly won by the black community and the colored community, the African and the colored community mainly. So it's got nothing to do with elitism. I'm saying within the black community, as within, not even. I would have understood if perhaps other races and if it was a very expensive shoe and the elite were subscribing to the concept of All-Stars. No, among us, the very lowest of the low, even there, I stopped wearing it because I thought now it had degenerated into something else. And it had nothing to do with class. It had nothing to do with money because it was not that expensive anyway, but it had to do with certain individuals. And you thought you should not be in an All-Star because you don't subscribe to what we subscribe to and this shoe has a certain unspoken value about it. And you are completely in contrast with that. So, but I loved your views. That's amazing. Thank you so much. But stay tuned because just after 10, we will be looking at across the desk and we'll be speaking about the role of ward councillors where you stay. 3 minutes to 10.
Happy Friday, 702 Lenders on a proper real Friday of December, right? So for me, it has been changing a WhatsApp profile picture now and then. I now find it very childish. I've had a WhatsApp app for 12 years during the days of BlackBerry, and I used to do it then. So when I see somebody do that, I feel like, oh, they just joined the app. 2, it's the Uber. I used Uber before anyone could know there was something like Uber. I remember introducing it to my boss and she was anti-it. It's a European concept. She rather support Amadex. I taught them that system in the office. Now they use Uber. So Moto have a very hyper like request. I'm like I'm so over Uber, you know. And H&M, before it came to South Africa, I could afford to buy a good thing whilst it was in Amsterdam, all those other countries. But since it has came in South Africa, I have not entered.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on primemediaplus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 702. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the primemediaplus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
The Maibuye Africa concert, the rebirth of Ubuntu, returns for one unforgettable night only. Simpiwe Dana, Judith Sepuma, Malé, Langa Mavuso, Elvis Blue, and Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, backed by a 20-piece orchestra conducted by Grammy Award winner Joe Arthur, curated and produced by the visionary Billy Monama. Opera House State Theatre, Pretoria, Saturday 6 December 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets from 350 to 1,000 Rand at Web Tickets. Proudly supported by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture and Brand South Africa.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for butcheries, restaurants, beauty salons, and more. Here's Gert.
I definitely have peace of mind that Business Outsurance is protecting our business. I do think Business Outsurance are the best insurance company out there, and they gave us the best quotes.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
James? Yeah? We did it. Did what? We made it. Where? Not where. When?
Friday?
It's Friday! Friday!
And you know what that means?
Yeah, it means we're getting our free scratch cards. Every Friday, log in and Betway Scratch gives you a free scratch card for a shot at a share of the daily 1.5 million rand.
And you're guaranteed to win a prize.
Every Friday, you scratch, you score. Only at betway.co.za.
Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. South African Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, really?
I want to be an astronaut.
An astronaut? Aren't you aiming a little high?
Well, that's where you come in. I need you to buy me Pediasure. It has 27 vitamins and minerals to support my growth so that I hit all the milestones, and it's scientifically proven.
Okay, Miss Liver. Where can I buy Pediasure?
It's available at pharmacies and retailers in South Africa.
Pediasure by Abbott. Approved by kids to fuel their dreams.
This Eyewitness News is brought to you by Vouch. Hassle-free insurance is possible with your Vouch advisor. Vouch SA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng police suspect the killing of Alexandra Taxi Association boss Vusi Mayaba could be linked to the ongoing violence in the industry. Mayaba was shot last night after leaving a restaurant in Woodmead. His death comes a few days after two taxi owners of the same association were shot dead in Midrand. Last month, Mayaba spoke against taxi violence at the funeral of another association boss who was killed alongside his bodyguard in a drive-by shooting. Gauteng police spokesperson Mavela Masondo.
It is suspected that the killing is related to an ongoing fight between taxi associations in Alexandra. Police are appealing to anyone who might have information that can help in the investigation or assist in the apprehension of the suspects to please call the nearest police station or call Crime Stop.
Meanwhile, Johannesburg Transport MMC Kenny Gunene says more needs to be done by law enforcement authorities to curb the violence in the taxi industry.
This is a very serious issue. The taxi industry drives our economy. Transportation drives the economy. So that's why I called on the president and the minister to form a national taxi killings task team that will focus on the killings of the taxi drivers, taxi bosses, taxi managers, and so on.
Concerns are mounting as illegal initiation schools continue to operate in the Eastern Cape. The 2025-26 summer initiation season runs from late November to the end of January next year. About 2 weeks in, several deaths have already been reported. The province's Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs spokesperson, Pello Oliphant.
Regrettably, there are 5 initiates who have already died, and we're into the second week since we officially opened the initiation season. Basically, the problem is more on transgressions as well as contravention of the Customary Initiation Act.
He says some arrests have been made.
So far, we have arrested 21 suspects as well as we have opened 19 cases. All those cases, all the suspects will appear in the different magistrate courts in the Eastern Cape shortly.
Deputy President Paul Mashatile says the ANC has suffered a financial blow since political parties have been required to declare their private donors. This amid reports that the party is once again struggling to pay its staff at its Lutuli House headquarters. Speaking to the Parliamentary Press Gallery Association yesterday, Mashatile said the party has appealed to the Finance Minister to increase state funding to political parties. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
In August, the threshold for declaring donations to political parties was increased from 100,000 Rand to 200,000 Rand. In the last quarterly funding report released by the Electoral Commission last week, the ANC didn't declare any cash donations between July and September. The party's Deputy President and former Treasurer General Paul Mashatile says funding has dried up since disclosures became mandatory in 2021.
We have lost a lot of funders as the ANC who don't want to be disclosed, for various reasons.
But Mashatile says it's not only the ANC that's battling the effects of the Political Funding Act.
It's just that the ANC is a big organization. We have a lot of people working for us throughout the country. So our salary bill is quite hefty.
Mashatile says to lessen the burden on the party purse, provinces are being made to pay their own way to gatherings such as the National General Council to be held in Gauteng next week. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And U.S. President Donald Trump and the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a peace deal in Washington as fighting continues in eastern DRC. The U.S. has also signed deals on critical minerals with the two countries during the meeting with Rwanda's Paul Kagame and the DRC's Felix Tshisekedi last night. Thousands of Congolese have been killed in fighting between the Rwanda-backed M23 group and the military, and many more have fled their homes in the east. And Trump says he hopes peace will finally happen.
For more than 30 years, one of the worst conflicts on earth has been raging in eastern Congo. Millions and millions of people have been tragically killed, went on forever, and countless more have been displaced from their homes. Families have been destroyed. It's been a disaster. Many administrations have tried, but probably not too hard.
Gold is trading at $4,221.04 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 to the dollar, 22.62 to the pound, 19.76 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.15 a barrel.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Rivoli area heading towards Joburg. That's on the N17 eastbound between the N1 and Nasrec Road, and in Roodepoort, traffic sluggish on Randfontein Road between Collet and Malstoka.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Gauteng police suspect the killing of Alexandra Taxi Association boss Vusi Mayaba could be linked to the ongoing violence in the industry.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is the voice of reason speaking.
But I could sound like this.
Or I could sound like this. Whatever I sound like, I'm saying, listen, Uskapaiza, this insurance thing.
One wrong move and it's not vibes.
That's why you need Vouch.
Someone who gets you and insurance. No spam, no pressure, just honest advice and cover that fits your life.
Because when life happens, you don't have to be the expert.
You just need to know who to turn to. Vouch. Someone on the inside, on your side. Vouch SA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 10 o'clock. Welcome back. You're on 702. Tabo in for Clement. And I am still getting some very interesting voice notes and text messages here on 0727021702 about our previous open line session where we spoke about almost everything under the sun, from the Australian new law or forbidding under 16-year-olds from accessing or being involved in social media platforms of various sorts, to chatting about what you now have termed elitism. Simply saying that there are some people who'd prefer not to be exposed or buy or consume things that other people buy. So a very interesting discussion indeed. And I thoroughly enjoyed your participation. In this hour, though, we're getting a little bit more serious. You'd remember that in 2026 or 2027, many of us, we will be casting our votes. And I would say and argue that that is the most important vote that we could cast in the country, because it speaks to you directly wherever you are, your neighborhood, the streets, lights, the potholes and everything else that has to do with your immediate engagement. Local government elections 2026, and some are saying that it might just be in 2027. Nonetheless, the issue is what councillors and PR councillors, just generally councillors, what is it that they do? You'll be voting for them, and subsequently they will then vote for the mayor. And When you interact with councillors on your WhatsApp group, when you write them a letter, do they respond? What are their powers? What is it that they can't do? Do we at times overly place a burden of responsibility on things that they don't have any control over, and we point at them? How many of us know who our ward councillors, our PR councillors, or just generally councillors are? I think it's a very important one, especially on the advent of the elections that I've just spoken about. So that's our Across the Desk today, 11 after 10.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
702 indeed. And today we're turning our attention, as I said, to the people who are meant to be the closest link between communities and government. And I'm speaking about ward councillors, PR councillors. And across South Africa's municipalities, you would know that ward councillors are elected to represent local residents, to raise service delivery issues, and to represent you by and large, and make sure that problems on the ground are escalated and resolved. So part of that is to make sure that we elect the right people in right places. But in many communities, there's growing frustration from water outages and refuse collection delays to burst pipes, street lights that stay off for months. For months. You drive around and months later the street lights are not working. Inconsistent communication and slow responses to complaints. These are serious issues that are bedeviling our communities. At the same time, there are councillors who are working hard, despite all of that, who are doing their best. I mean, they sacrifice family time. They respond, they communicate, and they do the best that they can behind the scenes trying to push the system, often with limited resources, limited budgets, and administrative backlogs that they're also faced with. So, do you know your ward councillor? Let me know. Let's start right there on 011-883-0702. Let me know if you know your ward councillor. What's your relationship with them? 072-702-1702. That's where you can send your text messages and your voice notes. Sitting right across me to help me with this issue is Kate Guerrero, who is a councillor of Ward 92 in Ekurhuleni. Kate, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming through. You good?
Thank you so much, and very good day to your listeners. I think it's a really good topic for us to speak about. And, obviously as councillors, we are the people on the ground. So, it's important that we are the middle people between the voice of the community and the municipalities that we serve.
Sure. Thanks very much. And we'll get into those issues momentarily. Sello Mabelebele is PR councillor at the city of Johannesburg. Sello, hi. Hope you're good. You're joining us on Zoom. Second time lucky.
Hi, good morning to yourself, Tabo, and to your listeners.
No, good morning. Let me guess, you forgot to press the unmute button. That happens to the best of us. Welcome, Sello. And
yes, I did. That happens.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. No, it's no issue at all. But thanks for joining us, Sello, and thank you as well. But maybe, Kate, let's start with you in studio right here. What is the role of a councillor? You are a ward councillor of Ward 92, right? Well, what's your role? You take a bath in the morning and you leave your home to do what?
So obviously, firstly, in terms of being a councillor, we are more than just politicians. We are servants to our people, to our community. And, if I think of myself, it's a luxury to basically be at home. We spend 7 days a week out in the community. And, that's obviously part of what our job is, to be the middle people between the community and Ekurhuleni in my instance. And, councillors obviously have the roles and responsibilities on a legislative side, and this is to ensure that budgets are passed, that, council agendas go through, and that we, debate on items. But there is also the element of service delivery. And this is where councillors take information from the community and share it with relevant officials or departments. Obviously we've noticed over time the decay, and unfortunately in Gauteng in particular, I think we've seen where it's become very difficult especially in terms of service delivery. And you mentioned some. Some of these elements such as street lights and potholes and power outages, and obviously, Joburg in particular has had, mass water problems, obviously as councillors, it's our job to assist the community as best as possible by escalating these type of, issues.
Sure. So basically, you are an intermediary between the communities and local government authorities, and everything else that the communities may feel aggrieved about, you need to advance it to the authorities and get it resolved as soon as possible.
Correct.
Let's, before I get to my other two guests, and I'll introduce Nkosikhona Khanyile as well. But before I get there, can we quickly create a distinction between a ward councillor and a PR councillor? I have found that a number of our communities really don't know that distinction.
So obviously, in terms of being a ward councillor, I am elected by the community. In other words, I receive the most votes in that community, and it means that I am the voice of that community. Your PR councillors, which are known as proportionate councillors, we would then be there under usually a political party. They are the people that are there also on a legislative side. They don't necessarily do the role of a ward councillor in terms of the service delivery need or the ward committee need, but they do very much the same as what we as ward councillors do.
Yeah, and they are assigned by their respective political parties, and they sit in council, and it would be about 137 of them, and 137 of ward councillors as well.
So obviously in City of Ekurhuleni, we've got 112 wards, and it means that we've got 112 PR councillors, so a total council of 224.
Okay. Let me introduce Nkosikhona Khanyile, who is councillor of Ward 65. And Nkosikhona, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Nkosikhona, let's try one more time. Okay, we'll come back as soon as we are joined by Nkosikhona.
I'm not. I'm audible.
Okay, that mute button, we must do something about it. Zoom must invent something else. Welcome. Yes, you are audible. Welcome, Nkosikhona. Let's come to you as a PR councillor. We're just drawing a distinction between a ward councillor and a PR councillor. Your role is equally demanding. Maybe share a little bit about that as far as it differs with what Kate had shared with us.
So, again, good morning to yourself and your listeners. So, look, for me, this is how I draw the distinction between the click is correct.
The line
in terms of as we are playing into the wards by politics. So we are placed by. So basically, PR councillors are placed by the political party, into the wards. We are deployed into the wards. Like for example, myself, I've got as compared to a ward councillor responsible for one ward. So I am responsible for 3 wards, which are mainly in the north of Johannesburg, which is Ward 100, Ward 114, and Ward 134. So, but otherwise, in terms of our role, they are more or less similar in a sense that we are also expected to, provide services to the community that we serve. So, the ward councillor will be, focus on one ward, as opposed to myself as a PR councillor, focus on 3 wards. Now, we represent the community in council, so we are basically the champion. This is how I want to phrase it. We are the champion of the community. We are the go-to people, public representative that would be the middleman between the community and the city of Johannesburg officials, especially when it comes to issues of service delivery. I like what you've mentioned earlier, that we have, especially in Johannesburg, potholes everywhere, Sandton, potholes. So community members will report the potholes for example, to GRA, and they would wait maybe 24 hours and they see that there's nothing happening, and they would obviously escalate it to myself as a PR councillor in the wards that I'm being allocated. Then it becomes my responsibility to ensure that I escalate, that particular issue to the city officials so that they can come out and ensure that the potholes are filled. So, and for us, particularly PR councillors, because our role is quite broad, because we've also got a responsibility to grow, the organization, our party where we are deployed. So it means that you go beyond the call of duty. For example, talking about myself, you end up even dealing with social issues in the community. So it's not only service delivery. For example, I recently dealt with the issue of, a child, a 12-year-old disabled child that was raped in Cosmo City. I end up having to make sure that the child was removed from her home into a safe home. I had to go to the police station to report a case.
Yes.
And also attend, a court case where we end up having to report her mother, open a case against her mother for child negligence.
Yeah.
So our role as public representative is not just only service delivery.
Yeah.
We also assist, especially when it comes to issues of social ills. You know that South Africa, we've got problems with alcohol. Sometimes we got involved in such things.
Sure.
That's it from my side.
Yeah. I think now that everyone is clear about the roles, I think let's get to the meat of the issue as I speak to you as well. Councillor Kanyile, Ngosikona Kanyile, who is with Ward 65 in Johannesburg. Councillor, I mean, Joburg has been hit by aging infrastructure. We all know that. We saw what happened in Bree Street, cable theft, power cuts, and many other things, and delays in fixing substations and water systems. What does this look like at what level? The state of peril. Is it worse off at what level?
Good evening. Good morning and good morning to the listeners. My name is Councillor Kanya from Ward 65, as you said. Now, I think it is true. In the city of Johannesburg, we're experiencing a lot of vandalism of the infrastructure, cable theft, and all those things. It really affects the service delivery and the impact of us as a ward councillor in that particular area. Remember, when you make a call after all those things have been damaged, have been happened, sometimes that it takes too long to be fixed, or that particular entity that is responsible for that. Sometimes that we find that it's taking too long to respond, and then it's creating a frustration on the resident on the ground that make even some of them, becoming angry. That is why we've seen that now. The life of the councillors, especially in nowadays, are on the serious threat. Because of that, now we escalate the matter. Today, we found that it can take 3 to 4 days, and then before it been attended. Sometimes that we understand.
Apologies. Allow me to jump in here with respect, without interrupting you. Apologies. Am I getting you to say that if Thabo stays in your ward, Councillor Kanyile, in Ward 65.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to be practical for purposes of productivity in our conversation. So if Thabo is in Ward 65 and I have an issue with water or electricity, generally of the community, not just in my house, and I call Joburg Water, and or I report this to you, you call Joburg Water, I also call Joburg Water, are we going to be treated in the very same way by Joburg Water, both you and I, myself as a normal resident, an ordinary resident of the city, and yourself as someone who must be playing a key role in the city? Are you going through the same channels that I'm going through?
No, definitely. In nowadays, we are going through on the same channel. It is no longer taking us as the first citizens of the world. So the frustration that now you get when you make the call. In nowadays now, it's happened that sometimes it's a very same treatment that you receive as a councillor. We normally even get a channel whereby we can raise this concern. But it's different on the department, because some of the other department, when the councillor call and then they're able to to redact and then quickly and to escalate the matter. Remember, some of the of the resident, they lock the call and then they give you the resident to escalate this matter. Some of the department, they take it quickly, but sometimes it's true that now when the ordinary resident reporting it, sometimes that they delayed, even not even ignoring it. But now, as I'm saying that now, it's developed now, it's even happening in even on us as a councillors. But in most, you have to find out some of the or the other department, when you log a call, and then as a councillor, they are quickly, more especially the management, because sometimes that we even jump the official who are doing the operational on the ground, jump to the management, at least to escalate on the management, so that they can just pause it in their staff. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. Kate, because I was going to ask that if that's the case, why do we guys need you then? If I can also log a call, if I can escalate it, if I can try to speak to management and go past the call center, why do we need you? Are you becoming redundant? Are we duplicating the duties here and overloading the system unnecessarily?
So obviously, I can't speak for City of Joburg.
Sure.
But in City of Ekurhuleni, we have a call center. You would phone the call center, receive a reference number, and obviously there is a turnaround time. Now, this is what the residents will do. As ward councillors, we have direct access to officials, to the MACO, to certain people within the department, such as divisional heads and heads of department, and it means that I'm able to do more than what a resident can do. Now, obviously, City of Ekurhuleni, we've got all our customer cares where residents can go into customer cares and also seek assistance. Unfortunately, what happens is that as much as in Ekurhuleni we have a turnaround time, very seldom does the city achieve the target of fixing a problem within that time. And I use energy as an example. My residents can sit anything from a week to 2 weeks before they get their power fixed. And it doesn't mean that because you've gone and reported it that it's going to get fixed. And it means that as the councillor, I need to now go beyond the call. I need to do other steps to try and get those problems fixed.
And again, for purposes of productivity, nothing else, and no one is grandstanding here. Maybe let me ask this question to all three of you before I go to the headline news. Starting off with you, Councillor Sello, if you could respond as briefly as possible, and then so that we give others a chance. And then after the headlines, we'll just delve into issues with an element of extensivity, if you will. So the question to all three of you now is, please share with me one limitation that really deters you from fully and competently executing your job. A limitation that is practical, that is there, and that is a threat to your job and the communities that you serve and makes you look very incompetent. It could be a function of legislation at local government. It could be resources. Maybe let's start with you, Sello. What is that one thing that stops you?
I'll tell you one thing, incompetent officials. Biggest thing in the city of Johannesburg, what we found is that we have officials that are there, but they are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. And as people that are meant to fast track and represent the community, they make our life really a living hell, even though our responsibility is quite simple. Our role is just to ensure that we fast track. We ensure that so we need to ensure that.
So you go to them.
What's the word to use?
Yeah, you take a practical, quick example. You go to them with this. You tell them that there's a problem in Mogesi Street in Dobsonville about this issue. They've been complaining for 2 weeks, and the incompetent, in your words, incompetent officials would then take their time to resolving the issue. As a result, you look incompetent.
As a result, you end up looking incompetent. However, I think for me, what is important is, there must always be a clear communication between yourself as a public representative and the community. So they need to understand that these are the limitations. This is what you have done. So you basically keep on, updating them. Clear channel of communication so that they know where things are. The biggest challenge that I've picked up, particularly in our line of work, is that sometimes you sit with an issue. Somebody reported an issue to you, and you sit with it. Months. You don't give feedback to say these are the challenges that you're sitting with, particularly issues of potholes.
We'll come to that.
Where the sitting will have.
Sello, we're going to come to that. I just want to get, before going to the news headlines quickly, I'll give you an opportunity to expand on that. Nkosi Khona, one issue that hinders you from doing your job?
No, it's definitely the incompetence of the officials. That's the first one, and then secondly, it might be also the lack of the resources. But now, how do I know that now we don't have, resources or enough resources, to respond on the issues on the ground? It's because of now the officials should able to update us based off the call that have been logged as a councillor. Remember that I escalated these calls to the official. They should be
dealing with
updating me with the latest development. Either whether it will be possible that anything will be fixed in the next 2 to 3 hours or in the 48 hours or in the next 2 to 6 weeks. So now we sometimes we left with all under darkness. We don't have answer to respond on the community. This will give them that now how long they should be wait, because it should be clear that now if now we don't have resources, you should be able to respond on the ground. If there's a matter of that now we don't have enough operators or whatever, if it's electrical issues or either it is a pothole or whatever, you should be able to respond on the ground that no, look, my resistant, this is what we must expect. It can take 2, 3 to 4 weeks. So sometimes that we found that is very difficult. But now to respond on what was
said, hold on. I'm going to come back to you. That now, I'll come back to you. I just wanted the hindrance. Cade, your hindrance?
So mine would be very much the same as the other speakers. Only being the middle person between the community and the city, it means that I am reliant on officials to do their jobs, to get the problems fixed. Unfortunately, I'm not an electrician or a plumber, and it means that I need those departments to help when I have a problem. So that can be a challenge. And of course, acknowledging that there's 3 levels of government. So you phone me with, for example, you've been robbed. I don't have any mandate over the police. I can only be the middle person to report that for you, and that can be a challenge.
Great. We'll come back to that, gentlemen. Apologies for rushing you so much, but after the headlines, we will explore all those and more. 28 minutes to 11 o'clock. Sfiso Zulu standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Apologies, we're running a bit late. Sfiso, what's the latest?
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Gauteng police suspect the killing of Alexandra Taxi Association boss Vusi Mayaba could be linked to the ongoing violence in the industry. Mayaba was shot last night after leaving a restaurant in Woodmead. His death comes a few days after 2 taxi owners of the same association were shot and killed in Midrand. Deputy President Paul Mashatile says it would be foolhardy to break up the government of national unity when greater partnership is needed to fix the country's problems. He says while ministers are working as a team despite their political differences, President Cyril Ramaphosa has requested them to move faster to effect change. And at least 2 people have been killed in Vietnam following flooding, which has caused more than a dozen landslides. The country has been battered by weeks of heavy rain, which submerged thousands of homes in tourism hotspots. And authorities are calling this the most unusual year of natural disasters in the country's history. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour, if you are traveling through Rivoli heading towards Joburg, we still have slow-moving traffic. This is on the N17 eastbound. Actually, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. It's not clear what's causing this delay, so if you are on that route, please let us know. You can WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. Also, delays if you're driving through the Calvin Alex area. Those roadworks are slowing down traffic on the N3 in both directions between London Road and the Petrie Interchange. In Edenville, heading towards Bedford View, also slow-moving traffic. R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis Interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Melrose at Collet and the M1 North. Traffic lights still not working in Douglasdale at Witkoppen and Douglas Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also WhatsApp us, or rather, you can also tweet us at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient, Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Some numbers bring instant stress, like a speeding fine, another petrol price hike, or that one debit order you forgot about, again. But not all numbers bring panic. Some bring calm and actual life-saving support. With 24/7 emergency support and over 300 ambulances, ER24 is there when you need us most. Don't wait for an emergency. See it, say it, save it. 084 124.
You want to build a quality home, the eye-catching jewel of the town, but your personality type is bargain hunter. It's only been 2 months and your quality home is the neighborhood nightmare. So abantu bazotini about the peeling paint that you call abstract art, the cracked walls that look like frown lines. Skip the embarrassment and the hunting. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cashbuild online to order quality cement, paint and more at the lowest prices. Cashbuild.
Mzansi, be in it to win it by playing Powerball for the life-changing 70 million Rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 70 million Rand jackpot today, and your dreams could become a reality. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
23 minutes to 11 o'clock. Welcome back. You're on 702. This feature is called Across the Desk. It happens every Friday when Clement is here. So I'm not moving furniture at all. And we get to speak to people in different industries. But today we're paying special focus on councillors. And we've invited 3 councillors to help us understand what is it that they do, what are their limitations, and how are they empowered to execute their task. I have reached out to you to ask, how do you relate with your own councillor where you are? What is your experience? I can sit here and pontificate looking at the numbers, the stats, the research, but what matters more is you, your lived experiences in your ward, in your area of residence. How do you interact with your councillor? Are you on a WhatsApp group, community WhatsApp group? Do you hold them accountable? Do you also empathize? I know I won't be popular with this one, but do you also empathize with their difficulties that they face, given the limitations of their job, or you just want them to perform miracles? You want to call them, text them, interact with them at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if they don't, do you sulk? Let's have a very honest discussion so that it is truly helpful and not gloss over issues. Those are the discussions I'd love to have. I'd ask you to send your thoughts to 072 702 1702, and this is what you had to say.
Hi, Tabo. For most community, there are WhatsApp groups in the community that the various councillors, whether they be the actual councillor, the PR councillor, then have for their constituencies. And that is how they advance things like repairing of streetlights, burst pipes, especially out at the premises, cutting of trees, bush cutting of parks, noise control, all that type of thing. I can honestly say I'm living in the West Rand municipality of Mogale City. We have a wonderful PR councillor, 2 of them in 2 wards that intersect our area. Edwina Maba and Lynette Wankhazen. Fantastic. And equally where my mother lives, the actual council is a DA council, and I'm so happy because they have endless problems with water outages, the electrical substations blowing, and not because of illegal connection, just lack of maintenance. So Councillor Cade Carrera, wonderful, wonderful person.
Hi Tabo, I've got a question for your councillors, the ward councillors. Why is it that after we vote for ward councillors, they now work for the municipality instead of working for us? instead of putting our interests first, they now work for the municipality and they impose what the municipality wants them to impose on us. They become now different people. For 5 years, we suffer because now our ideas, our grievances, our complaints, everything is not being taken seriously. People are telling us and now giving us excuses about what the municipality is saying and stuff like that. So why is it that they don't work for us and now they tend to work for the municipality after being voted in position, in power, in leadership by us, the people? From Naledi.
Hi, Taba and the team. On the subject of ward councillors, let's say you are not happy with the performance of a ward councillor. Where can you report him? And who is their bosses? Whom they account to? And also, what should be their performance appraisal? And who performed that performance outcome? David.
Morning. I just want to say that we have been seeing a lot of PR councillors, especially Action SA councillors, on the ground more than ward councillors. PR councillors have been very active.
Oh man, we lost that one, but I think we got the gist of it all. Gentlemen, I'm just going to throw some questions to you. I'm pleading with all of you to be as brief as possible because there are three of us, and I just want to give everyone an equal amount of time. And please, if you could respond to some of those thoughts. I think one, if you've got a problem with a councillor, who do you report to? Two, the councillors that are now neglecting the feelings or the sentiments of the community and then placing their roles in council ahead of the needs of the community. So I'll come back to you, Kate, because it's easier. You are in studio. Silo, let's start with you, then go to Nkosikona. Silo?
Okay, so I'll start with I'm here.
Sure.
Problem with the councillors. Who do you report to? So this is quite simple. Councillors report to the Speaker of Council. So you just need to send your complaint directly to the Speaker of Council, and obviously stipulate, why you're complaining. What are the issues that you're experiencing with that particular councillor that you want to complain about? The second question about the question about voting. And, councillors not necessarily representing their constituencies. I think this one ties back to what the colleagues that we've mentioned earlier, that there's certain expectations that communities have. And also, we as public representative, we are failing because we don't go back and report to our constituencies. What I mean by this is that, when there's an issue that has been reported, so you need to go back and report back to the community through meetings. Ward councillor, PR councillors are expected to conduct public meetings. And in those public meetings, that is where community members will highlight some of their issues and issues that also, as a public representative, you need to champion in council. Because council is not only about us going to sit there, it's about us going to sit there, come up with, have motions that comes directly from the communities, service delivery motions. So that's where the issues are. Some of the colleagues are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that is where I would leave it.
Sure. Thanks. Nkosikona?
No, thanks very much. I think that the first one will conquer with my colleagues. We report, where do we report the council? Obviously on the Speaker of Council or on the whip of the council. That is where we report to the councillor when we are not happy with what the councillor is conducting themselves in the community. Two, I think we might be sound like we're defending ourselves, but I would say the reason that now, as a councillor, I said earlier on that now, whenever we have a problem, we reported the problem, we escalate the problem. Remember, we expected to report it back to the community. But we can't just predetermine them saying that now this is what will be happened, except that the officially can update you that now how far and then how far it's going to take. So sometimes that we don't have that answer. Sometimes it's found it difficult that we have to go back to the resident and saying that now I'm still waiting. And then obviously you're rendering yourself as useless. So sometimes that we have to try and push as much as you can.
Yeah.
Two, we in the issue of the community meeting, sometimes that we normally try to have a public meeting, calling the official to account, but sometimes that we found that now these things that is happening now in our country, that people now they are no longer represent the interest of the people, they are no longer represent the importance of the resident. So sometimes that we found there and declare ourselves as representing our own political parties. The problem is that on the ground now we are politicizing the service delivered instead of now neutralize the service delivered, because it doesn't make sense that either whether you are this from this political party on this other political, but the situation on the ground is affecting us at all. So sometimes that we found that now when we go in the community now, we able, I mean, in most of the time, we are fighting with the political issues instead of fighting with the service delivered. So that is where the problem is. But the issue of the councillors, that only the service delivered, also in the council, we also have a responsibility of the councillors, I mean, to pass some of the decisions there, because there are some of the decisions that the official cannot pass it without it being passed on the councillors. So now that is where the difference is. Not that we go in the council and then prioritize the council meeting and the resident.
Sure.
Because some of even the entity, the budget and all the other things, it should be passed in council. And then some of the issues and the frustration of us as the councillors, we have to raise in the council forum or in the council meeting. So that at least maybe a city manager is listening, speaker is listening, they can be able to, I mean, MMCs, which is the political head of some of the departments, they are listening, so that at least they can able to impose in their EDs, so that now let's prioritize the service delivery on the ground. Some of the MMC after the council meeting, they do have the meeting with their staff and then try to push that so that at least the service delivery shouldn't be affected.
Let's leave it at that, Nkosi. Very quickly, Pelelani is calling us. Please listen to his call. He's calling us from Protea Clan. Pelelani, you on air. What do you have to say?
Good morning, Thabo, and to my colleagues there.
Morning.
Yes, I'm calling from Protea Clan. I'm the ward councillor in Ward 135. Thabo, my contribution to the discussion would be that part of the challenge that we face as ward councillors is that we call public meetings and the community does not respond to the public meetings. And that can also be largely be the reason that we created WhatsApp groups. Like in my ward, I've got WhatsApp groups in each and every extension and one common WhatsApp group. So what they would say, I would call a public meeting, they don't come, then later on they would say, Councillor, can you please give us a feedback on the WhatsApp, give us the minutes, and that also kills them coming to the public meetings. But also the community, I think it is important that we educate them, the role of the councillor. In my case, for an example, I have an issue of a load reduction that I have been engaging with ESCOM with in terms of them taking us out of load reduction. And largely ESCOM is not coming to the party to a point where I ended up going to the general manager of ESCOM, Bandile. Bandile tried to intervene, but we are still at loggerheads because I'm waiting for them to come back to us. Now the community will say, Councillor, these people are not coming to the party. What are you saying? No, Councillor is failing us. The issue of the street lights. In my ward currently, ESCOM has metered the street lights. They report the street lights. I take it to City Power. City Power must pay ESCOM. There's a traffic light that is not working. Even the N12 traffic light that is currently not working. That traffic light has been switched off by ESCOM because it has been metered. The province does not want to pay. Even the one in Protea Clan, R559, ESCOM switch it off. When I ask ESCOM, ESCOM says we have built GRA, and I've seen the bill of the GRA. I took it to the CFO of GRA. He promised to make a payment. Payment was not made. Now the community will say, Councillor, we are running late at work because of that. So I think we have to have an education of some kind, a civic education, so that the community would know. Lastly, Thabo, the CPP, community-based planning, my community did not attend, and that's where they need to tell us. They need a wall. They need a clinic. But if
Yeah, I think it's a very important issue that you raise in Pelelani, especially of community involvement. Sometimes we complain, but we're sitting on the sidelines. We wait for problems and then we scream at councillors. But of course, that doesn't absolve them from various ills that are bedeviling our communities as well. It's 11 minutes to 11 o'clock. Kate, I'm going to come back to you. I know I need you to ventilate on some issues. We just need to take a quick break and then you'll be first on the speaker's podium. 10 minutes to 11.
Okay, truck 7, that has zero warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
Stop. Turn off the noise. Put down the phone. Have dinner with your family. Sit on the couch with your mum. Belly flop into bed for a power nap. Make your house home again with the furniture you'll love at prices you'll love even more. Celebrate style and celebrate savings at Decophone Furniture with incredible discounts every day till end January. In-store or at decophonesa.co.za.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. Let's walk the talk.
702.
7:02 indeed, 9 minutes to 11 o'clock on Across the Desk. Today we are speaking to three councillors from various municipalities. Cade Guerrero is councillor of Ward 92 in Ekurhuleni. He's in the studio with us. Nkosikwana Kanyile, councillor of Ward 65 in Johannesburg, is joining us on Zoom. And so is Sello Mabelebele, who's a PR councillor in the city of Johannesburg. The main thrust of it all, we are looking at councillors, their responsibilities, their powers, their shortcomings, but most importantly, how are they serving you as a resident of whatever municipality you reside in. Remember, when we are voting in general elections, national and provincial elections, we vote on separate issues. We're voting also on international relations. There are a plethora of issues. This one affects both you and I directly. I can't think of one person who would claim to be excluded by the issues of the upcoming elections, especially local government. I can't imagine if there'd be one person who'd say, this doesn't affect me. And thus, we can't afford to be complacent. We can't afford lethargy. We cannot afford to drag our feet and say, I'm not going to vote. And then we come back and complain. This is the platform to raise all these issues about councillors, and we have all of them here. Kate, I suppressed you for some time. You wanted to ventilate on a number of things that have been raised. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So obviously it is, as my colleague said, should you have a problem, you report us to the Speaker of Council, to the Chief Whip of Council, and of course you could go to the Mayor. Remember that we all come from political parties. You are able to report us to the political parties that we serve. And then obviously in terms of saying one thing and doing another, as was mentioned, remember that councillors are regulated. We must follow the rule of law. It means that, for example, I can't give you permission to have a strike. I can't give you permission not to pay your rates and taxes. So it's important to understand that I must follow a certain process. And I think that's also why it's so important that as politicians, we don't make empty promises. Don't tell a person that you're going to build them a Disneyland, in the community when you know that you can't and you know that it's not going to be possible. So it's important to ensure that what you say you're going to do, you fulfill that mandate.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we are there to be servants to our communities.
Sure. I want us to briefly, because we have about 2 minutes remaining, talk about the assembling the ward committees, because the committees are seen to be some society group of friends and buddies and chommies that you've assembled so that they can just agree with you all the way, and whilst making a little bit of a buck. Anyone who's seen to be saying something different is going to be dealt with appropriately. And in that way, maybe Nkosi Khona, very briefly, literally about 40 seconds, the importance of a ward committee.
No, it's true that the ward committee, is very much important. It's just that in some of the things that are not being empowered. But on the work relationship, on the service delivery, on my side, I'm working very, very, very good with my, and they're responding well. There are eyes and my ears on the ground. They report on the things, they escalate the references to me. And sometimes of those who are difficult, they just take the call to me so that I can just direct the call wherever it is possible.
Yeah.
They always make the follow-up, all the things that they reported. I think that on my side, it's just that they are not being powered and some of the things that are limited. Thank you.
Yeah. And Sello, on your side?
Well, across the board, most of the wards, 135 wards. If you look at it, it is dysfunctional. And I'm saying this because, they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It links up to what the colleague is saying when he's talking about lack of empowerment. Because these are the people that are supposed to be also championing service delivery issues, but they are not taking place. You'll find in some of the wards, they don't even have ward committee members.
Yes.
Some drop off, they don't replace. So that is where the problem is. Thank you.
Thanks. Kate?
So obviously, as a ward councillor, I have a ward committee where 10 people are elected. It's not to be political. They're there to be the eyes and the ears for things that I don't see. And to me, they serve a purpose. But unfortunately, there is an element where they will be political, or people will assume that they're political. The same as how I am at the mercy of officials, so would a ward committee. And it means that at the end of the day, I can report the problem, I can do petitions and motions, and I can fight it in council, but I am still reliant on the relevant administration who runs the city, and I'm also at the at the mercy of the MMCs and and their departments to get issues fixed.
Yeah, gentlemen, we could chat we needed about minimum 5 hours to have this discussion, just minimum. I apologize for pressing you so hard, for being a moderator that has been very strict on time. Please forgive me, and for oppressing you on some of the issues. And it's simply time. It's not my fault, but I truly appreciate your presence here and speaking to the people of South. This is a very important subject of councillors. It's not fashionable, it's not sexy to speak about, but it's extremely critical. I'm glad you made time to come and take the heat on behalf of some of your colleagues. Really appreciate it. Kate Guerrero, Councillor of Ward 92 in Ekurhuleni, Nkosi Khona Kanyile, Councillor of Ward 65 in Joburg, Sello Mabelebele, PR Councillor in the city of Johannesburg. All the best, gentlemen.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas with over 2 billion rand in festive savings. Like Lindt or chocolate cornets 200 grams, any for 139.99 each. And Clover Butro full cream modified butter spread, 500 grams, 2 for 149 rand. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers. T&Cs apply.
Join the summer spectacle of speed with Hollywood Bets. Take the reins with the sizzling summer competition. Bet 50 rand or more on horse racing for a chance to win a share of 1 million rand in prizes. This includes one of 8 all-expenses-paid VIP experiences to the 2026 WSB Cape Met. Saddle up and bet now for a chance to claim flaming fortunes at the finish line. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Listen up, corporates. Wrap up your tax year on a meaningful note by donating to DKMS. Your support assists in fighting life-threatening blood cancers by enabling DKMS to recruit more potential donors as well as raising patients' chances of finding a match. And there's an added advantage. Enjoy the benefits of a Section 18A tax certificate, which grants your company a well-deserved rebate. Be a force for good this tax season by giving those in need a new lease on life. Email fundraising at dkms-africa.org to donate today.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I am Sfiso Zulu. We start with breaking news. Lawyers for convicted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester say they will apply to have access to Minister Ronald Lamula's phone records and for documents from President Cyril Ramaphosa. Bester returned to the Free State High Court this morning with his 5 co-accused for his prison escape case. The matter started without Dr. Nandi Pamagutumana, Bester's accomplice, with lawyers telling the court that there were delays by correctional services officials in picking her up. Bester, Magudumana and some former G4S employees are accused of staging his brazen escape from the Mangaung prison where he was serving a life sentence for murder. Khomotso Modise reports.
Thabo Bester's lawyers have addressed the court on 6 applications that he plans on bringing in several courts, which he claims have a direct bearing on his main trial. One of those matters is an access to information application. Arguing on his behalf, advocate Muafrika wa Maila.
That will include some documents that are in possession of the President of the Republic of South Africa. That will include the phone records of some of the politicians. I can name Mr. Ronald Lamula. That will include also some of the classified information of national intelligence.
But Maila did not explain the nature of the documents that they intend to access from President Cyril Ramaphosa. At the time of Bester's arrest, Ronald Lamula was Justice Minister. It's unclear when the application will be heard, but his lawyers insist the outcome of this will inform the next step in his main trial. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Free State High Court.
The other breaking story this morning, corruption-accused crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo has been cleared to return to work following the relaxation of his bail conditions. The Pretoria High Court has granted Khumalo, along with 2 other senior officers, Precious Madondo and Josias Likalakala, permission to enter any crime intelligence office. The trio has been facing charges of corruption and fraud relating to allegedly hiring an unqualified person to a senior position within crime intelligence. One of their bail conditions was they were prohibited from entering any crime intelligence office in the country, and they've now successfully appealed that condition. Meanwhile, suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu says the task team investigating political killings is the only one that remains outside of SAPS organizational structure. Mchunu is testifying before the Mlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria this morning. He's been questioned about his decision to issue an instruction to disband the task team in December last year. Oren Singh reports.
Senzo Mchunu says the PKTT continues to operate outside of SAPS's organizational structure, something he claims is administratively and constitutionally unattainable. According to Mchunu, since 2019, various task teams have been absorbed and integrated into SAPS's organizational structure. He makes an example of the taxi violence task team.
It was put under murder and robbery, which is under serious and violent crimes, to permanently reside within the structure, which makes it better for SAPS to fulfill their mandates.
Yes.
So, which is different from a standalone structure like PKTT.
Mchunu claims a 2019 work study signed off by former National Police Commissioner Kehla Sitole investigated the integration of task teams into permanent units. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Gauteng police suspect the killing of Alexandra Taxi Association boss Vusi Mayaba could be linked to the ongoing violence in the industry. Mayaba was shot last night after leaving a restaurant in Woodmead. His death comes a few days after 2 taxi owners of the same association were shot dead in Midrand. Last month, Mayaba spoke against taxi violence at a funeral of another association boss who was killed along with his bodyguard in a drive-by shooting. Gauteng Police Spokesperson Mavela Masondo.
It is suspected that the killing is related to an ongoing fight between taxi associations in Alexandra. Police are appealing to anyone who might have information that can help in the investigation or assist in the apprehension of the suspects to please call the nearest police station or call Crime Stop.
Deputy President Paul Mashatile says it would be foolhardy to break up the government of national unity when greater partnership is needed to fix the country's problems. He says while ministers are working as a team despite their political differences, President Cyril Ramaphosa has requested them to move faster to effect change. Questions by the Parliamentary Press Gallery Association yesterday asked Mashatile about what he believes the GNU is working well, and he said it wouldn't dissolve if he were to take over the leadership of the ANC. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
Despite tensions over the budget and a proposed value-added tax increase earlier this year, Deputy President Paul Mashatile says the GNU train is back on the tracks. He says last month's GNU leaders' retreat reaffirmed the commitment of party leaders to work together, and ministers are not being identified by the parties they represent.
We've really emphasized the fact that there must be speed of execution in what we do, but generally on policy and priorities, we are all agreed.
Mashatile says the ANC will never kick any party out of the coalition, despite calls from its members earlier this year to cut the DA loose after the budget disagreements.
What we said at the time was that it was the DA that was chasing itself away, not us.
Mashatile says with terms and references adopted, the clearinghouse mechanism will work more optimally to resolve differences between parties. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And at least 2 people have been killed in Vietnam following flooding, which caused more than a dozen landslides. The country has been battered by weeks of heavy rain, which submerged thousands of homes in tourism hotspots. Gold is trading at $4,221.04 an ounce. The rand is at 16.96 to the dollar, 22.62 to the pound, 19.76 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.15 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're in the Edenville area heading towards Bedford View, slow-moving traffic on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Calvin, also roadworks slowing down traffic on the N3 in both directions. This is between London Road and the Butler interchange.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The 2 breaking story in EWN this hour. Lawyers for convicted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester say they will apply to have access to Minister Ronald Lamula's phone records and for documents from President Cyril Ramaphosa. And corruption-accused crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo has been cleared to return to work following the relaxation of his bail conditions.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
You are on 702, 8 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thabo Shola Mashao in for Clement, and we're together till 12. Thanks very much for joining us. In the previous hour, we touched on the role of councillors. I'm so sorry, there was no time. And those issues were all important. I'm glad that you had sent your voice messages through, including some of the text messages. I'm glad that you were so glued into that conversation. It's a very important one, and we should revisit it sometime soon. The local government elections are just around the corner, and the more we know about our responsibilities, not just our rights, the better. I know that sounds so cliched, but it's very critical so that we know who to hold accountable, where to go, and to what extent do we express ourselves on issues of local government that affect all of us. There was a very interesting voice note earlier on that spoke about Mogale City, that there are two amazing councillors that side. I'm a resident of Mogale City, and I'd love to know where about, because I don't even know who my councillor is in that area. I genuinely don't know. They are invisible, completely invisible. So maybe that's the story of your life as well, where you live. But I don't only blame them. I must also take initiative in getting to know who they are, their contact details, and playing my role. It's easy to point a finger, but in that previous conversation, in the previous hour, we were, I think, enlightened to the fact that we also must take some responsibility. Now, 10 after 11, relationship feature. And today we are speaking to Lee Joy. Lee never disappoints. She always has some very interesting things to say, and she's relationship coach. We'll chat to her in the next few seconds.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
You know, there are couples who would be together for quite some time. They would just be having this beautiful relationship, long relationship that lasts and lasts and lasts. Ever wonder how couples stay happily married for 40 years or more? You come across them and they'll tell you, we've been married for 20 years, for 20, 30 years, 40 years. Well, a recent report by CNBC showed partnerships spanning 40, 50 and even 60 years, sharing the advice about love, marriage, and staying together. And over the next hour, we'll share the heartfelt wisdom they offered from why small acts of kindness matter in a relationship. To how to handle the conflict, keep the romance alive, and grow together even as life changes. So whether you newly in love or decades into your journey, these timeless ideas can help all of us, I assume, in our respective relationships. So Lee joins us right now. Lee Joy, relationship coach. Lee, thanks for joining us. Welcome again. I hope you are well. It's been a minute.
Tabo, it's so awesome to hear you. Sorry I'm not in studio, but it's so lovely to hear your voice, and I'm so excited for this conversation because so many of us want our loves to last.
Yeah.
And if we can get, if we can get the best advice from the gurus, or not gurus, but the people that have walked the long yard, then I think that we can build robust relationships. And I believe robust relationships is what builds a robust and resilient and strong community.
Yeah, I was so disappointed that you're not in studio, Lee, but all the best. And I'm happy that you could join us because you always shed light on these very important issues. And when I was reading last night about what we'll be talking about today and the advice behind long, happy relationships, the first question was that I had to myself was that, do they exist? Are they just a myth? But this CNBC, I think the report by CNBC showed quite a lot that actually there are some nuggets of wisdom that we can get from all of this. But Lee, before we get to the advice that was shared, what does long-term commitment look like in a world where many people struggle with consistency and patience and communication, myself included?
I think, this article was so powerful for me, and why I shared it with your producer, Sanazo, and I'm so thrilled that you guys have picked this up and want to talk about it. Because I think, there's Esther Perel speaks about, she's a Belgian therapist.
I know.
And she talks about, she's amazing. She talks about how when our parents and forefathers were in relationships, it was one relationship for 40, 50 years. Now it's 2 to 3 relationships over a 40, 50-year period. So even a 10-year relationship is seen as a long-term relationship.
Yeah. Very interesting, hey?
Yeah, and I think I don't want to get too stuck on time, with regards to how long a relationship is together. I'm more interested in how do we increase or how do we nurture the quality of a relationship? Because I think when the quality of a relationship is paramount, then longevity is one of the outcomes.
Yeah. And whenever we touch on such topics, Lee, I don't know, I could be wrong completely, but I feel that a number of people have given up. And I don't have the stats with me, but I feel that people are somehow delusioned now. They not delusioned, but disillusioned about what love is and the long-term effects of a relationship that is working, that is happy. And perhaps I'm speaking for myself, but is it doable that 40 years down the line, you are still happy? For 50 years down the line, you still choose this person and you still choose them given an opportunity. And you still feel that this is the person for me, I wouldn't want anyone else. Is it there, or is it just movies, Lee? Is it a real life thing?
Yeah, I definitely think there are long-term relationships still out there. I think maybe in today's day and age, it's a little, like younger people, it's a little bit less prevalent. But the older generation, there's definitely, quite a fair amount of people that are still married. The question is whether you're happily married. I think that's one of the death knells of a relationship, is when we expect it to be continuously happy. I believe that just like a relationship is like a human, it's the third aspect of us, right? There's me, there's you, and then there's the relationship. And just as who's the developmental psychologist? It's not Beck. Bowlby talks about the development of the human being. The child from the suckling to the different phases of development. I think that the relationship goes through equally similar developmental phases.
And what are some of those things? Maybe let's kick off with them. The nuggets of truth that make a relationship work. A friend of mine and I, whenever we joke around and we have nothing to laugh about, we would then come up with, we'd often say, what is the biggest myth about life that you've heard? And we'd both say that communication makes a good relationship.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a myth. We're just being naughty. But I'm just thinking we sometimes, Lee, I think overplace the burden of a workable relationship on communication. Is it still the case?
Yeah, I definitely think that the ability. I mean, one of the points here in that article that you and I are referencing to, they talk about, would you rather be right or would you rather be build the relationship? Communication is vital. I mean, it's just tone, never mind what we say. There's a communication style that I teach my clients. It's called the sandwich effect. And basically what you do is the first part of the sandwich, the first bread, if you want to, you talk about what are the things that you really appreciate about your partner or the person, even it could be a colleague, whoever you're going to have the conversation with. Then you speak about what are the things that you struggle with, which is the meat. And then or if you're vegan, it will be tomato and
cucumber.
And then the third element is how could we work on this together? That would be the second piece of bread. So when we communicate in that style or in that fashion, it's more digestible. And also there's the imago therapy style that I teach, where I teach my clients how to actually listen and speak, because sometimes, and women have got like 25,000 words a day and men have got like 5,000 words a day. So if a man, I've often heard men struggling because their wives speak too much and then they get stuck after the first two, they get what's known as emotionally flooded after the first two sentences because it's too overwhelming, so their ears shut down. So often women will say, listen to me. And she's right, they're not listening, but not because they don't want to, just because they can't. They're totally overwhelmed. Their brains are overwhelmed. So there are different aspects of communication that are very important. Keep it simple, keep it short, rather break the conversation down into smaller chunks so that your partner can reflect back to you what they hear. So communication, I mean, that's a whole art and a science and a very big part of what I teach my clients.
Yeah. And Lee, you're speaking about communication, but long-term couples often also talk about being teammates, and it feels as if you're a tech team. And what does true partnership look like in a modern relationship?
Great question. So I think before we can even be a partner, we need to be able to have great self-care. You know, we need to be able to looking at ourselves spiritually, physically, intellectually, creatively, emotionally, and sexually. Like, what are our relationships to ourselves in those different areas? And then how do we, when those areas are balanced, we can show up as a really great partner. And obviously it's important that your partner then looks at those 6 areas of their lives as well. Brene Brown, who I adore, speaks about Steve, her husband, where they, you know, everyone talks about there has to be like 50-50 in a relationship or 100-100 in a relationship. If you look at teamwork, and it's also not about keeping score within a relationship. Partnerships don't do that. But what Brene and Steve came up with, they get home in the day, like after work, and then they would check in with each other. What percentage are you at? Are you at 10%? Are you at 80%? And then say they were both at 20%, then they knew they had to down tools and they really had to get takeout. They're not going to do kids' homework. They're going to have a bath and go to bed early. Just so that there's a to minimize the fallout or the irritation or a breakdown in communication. Sometimes she would say, hey, I'm at an 80 and he's in a 20. And she would say, hey, don't worry, I've got this. You go do what you need to do. I've got this. I'll sort it out. And I think that's what partnership is really about. It's not about, hey, you bring 50, I bring 50. That transactional notion of keeping score, and more so like, hey, buddy, I'm here. What needs to get done? Where do you need help? And I see it. I mean, I've seen it this week in my clients. Like one couple that I'm very fond of. You know, he was very supportive of his wife. She started a new business, and he had a really great need for her this week as well, because he was going through some stuff, but he kind of put his needs to the side because he felt like he wanted to be there for her. And so I think that those are what knits the fiber of healthy relationships.
Sure. And that would take honesty and, I suppose, sound intention, in a sense that I can't always come home and say I'm at 15% all the time and expecting the other person to be carrying me as well. So intentional honesty is also very necessary with so that I don't shift the responsibility to one partner all the time.
Absolutely. But then you consider someone like, let's say the partner's got cancer or something horrible, got a dementia or whatever. Then you would bring in a third party to help manage the home. So it's just like this whole Wonder Woman, Superman, effect of trying to do everything on our own really flies in the face of what partnership looks like. And I don't know about you, Thabo, but I'm like, because of my upbringing and the trauma experience, I'm like hyper independent, which is actually really destructive for relationships. Because I don't let my partner know when I'm struggling, and then he feels like, well, do you really love me and trust me if you feel like you can't do that? And so it's not that I don't love and trust him, it's just that I am so scared to be a burden to people. So and so learning, I mean, I'm 51 and I'm only learning that now. And so partnership really is about saying, hey, buddy, I'm needing some help. What can you do to help me? Not you should, not an expectation, but rather an invitation to step into the void.
I'm 100% like you, Lee. I'm also hyper independent. I don't want to be disappointed, so I'd rather rely on myself. So I wouldn't share all that stuff. I'd rather keep it, and I'm like, I'll deal with it. I'll find a way to deal with it, and it's not helpful. And I'm not boasting about it because it's destructive. Someone else may feel useless, completely useless in a relationship. That you come to their rescue, but they are never they never see you vulnerable. They never see you. They never get an opportunity to lift you up. So it's nothing to boast about. It's very destructive and it can kill a relationship. And I concur with you. And Lee, I wanted to find out from you, speaking about long, happy relationships or marriage or partnerships, how much of that truly relies on compatibility? And how much of that is deliberate work that you put in? Because at times people will say, no, we're not compatible, no matter how much work you put in. If you're not compatible, it's just not going to last. What dosage do we use and how many spoons do we use to make this concoction potent?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a lovely question because people have always, chemistry and compatibility are the two bookends of a healthy relationship. But, I don't think we're always necessarily compatible because we should be growing as people. So if we're growing as people, it would mean that our touch points would change over time. So not being compatible at a certain period of time doesn't mean that the relationship doesn't have to work. It just means that we're both having to put more effort into it. I know, if you look at the different we were talking about the different developmental stages of a relationship. In the beginning, the honeymoon phase, we totally gloss over the areas where we're not compatible with each other. And we're only focusing on the things that we're similar and our similarities. So, and then and all the hormones and everything that flood our beings that create, connection and a bond. So, I don't know. I think that I think a relationship takes work, and I think that as a Christian, for me, it's been a beautiful experience to be able to ask God to help us with our relationship, where we have fallen short, to be able to ask the Holy Spirit to work through us and helping us with that. So, I think really, for me, if I look at compatibility, the most important thing for me is spirituality. How are you compatible spiritually with the partner?
Yeah. 26 minutes after 11 o'clock, my guest is Lee Joy, relationship coach, and we are looking at advice behind long relationships, what long married couples want you to know. Couples who've been in this commitment for quite some time. There was some survey that was done, a report recently by CNBC. It showed partnerships spanning over 40, 50 years, or even 60. And so they were giving and sharing advice about love, marriage, and staying together. We're reflecting on some of those nuggets of wisdom, Lee and myself. Lee's my guest, and she's an expert in these things. And feel free to share. It could be that you've been in a very long relationship. Qualitatively, quantitatively, you feel that it's of value, and you would like to share some nuggets of truth or some bit of tips, or your insights, your encounters that actually, if you do this, it just may help. I know it doesn't sound particularly sexy and fashionable because we're not talking about divorce, fighting, toxic people, what do you do, and so on. We're talking about people who are genuinely happy together. What are some of the things that they did? So feel free to share your thoughts with us on 011-883 0702, 011-883-0702. Alternatively, send a voice note to 072 702 1702 and a text message to that very same number as well. Perhaps your advice could help someone else out there to last a little bit longer in a loving relationship. We all need help. This thing doesn't come with a book of tricks. There's no formula, but an advice every now and then helps. Lee, out of this report, did we pick up any patterns that were seemingly common, something that came over and over again as some element that may contribute towards having a long, happy relationship?
I think the most important is connection, and how we create connection is through dating. The one guy was 99 years old, and he says, I'm still courting my wife. Never stop dating. And I think that developing that connection, if you allow me, there's a amazing product by Yayo Health Skeletium, which is amazing product to be able to create connection between couples. They have lots of health benefits. But just going and having date nights and hanging out together and being friends. When I was young, very young, like before I started dating, my mom said to me, "You've got to choose someone who's a friend. Make a friend first, and once you've developed the friendship, then think about having a romantic relationship with them." And when I was young and feisty and impatient, I didn't listen. But as I got older, I definitely saw the benefit in that, because if I only look at my partner, and I've seen it with couples as well, if they only look at them as lovers, there's such a beautiful part of connecting two souls together that is based on friendship. And that continual need to date, like that 99-year-old said, like to date and to write little notes and to give a bouquet of flowers, just a romance. And never to stop noticing. Oh, I see you got a new lipstick color. And I know guys are like my partner's like, Lee, we don't even notice that stuff. I'm like, but that's not an excuse. Like, it's important to start, But I'm not talking about him. He's very good at noticing stuff around my hair or whatever.
You're talking about me.
I'm just saying some men don't. But women also need to notice.
Yeah.
It's something that men really enjoy as well. I've heard a lot in my practice, is where women have stopped noticing their husbands and the small things that they do. I feel like I'm being very sexist today. Should I say people stop noticing each other? I don't mean to be sexist, guys.
Apolitical language. But Lee will chat shortly. It's exactly 11:30. Mbali Dlamini is standing by to give us the very latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Welcome. Good morning, Mbali.
Thanks, Tabo. A very good morning. Let's begin with some breaking news. Loyiso Masuku has been elected as the ANC's Johannesburg leader after a closely fought contest against Dada Morero. Her victory was confirmed a short while ago at the party's 16th Regional Elective Conference taking place in Sandton. Masuku clinched the top ANC Johannesburg position from Morero, who served in that role for the past 3 years. Lawyers for convicted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester say they will be applying to have access to Minister Ronald Lamola's phone records and for documents from President Cyril Ramaphosa. Bester returned to the Free State High Court today with his 5 accused for his prison escape case. The matter started without Dr. Nandipa Makutumana, who is Bester's alleged accomplice, with lawyers telling the court that there were delays by correctional service officials in picking her up. And corruption-accused crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo has been cleared to return to work following the relaxation of his bail conditions. The Pretoria High Court has granted Khumalo, along with 2 other senior officers, Precious Madondo and Josias Likalakala, permission to enter any crime intelligence office. The trio has been facing charges of corruption and fraud. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in the Calvin area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is due to roadworks on the N3 affecting traffic in both directions between London Road and the Patlu interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic heading into Bedfordview. That's leaving Edenvale R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange in Irene. Also traffic a bit sluggish on Nalmapius Drive approaching Main Road. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights as well in the Sunning Hill area at Rivonia Road and Vidkop. And if you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
She asked him a very straightforward question. She said, have you ever taken money from Kat Matlala, yes or no? He said yes, but she said it's either yes or no. And then Justice Mlanga said, I think the but is very interesting. And from there, it all seemed to flow.
I watched him attempt to drown himself with bottled water because he was so nervous and anxious. And his chicanery was on display. You know, he was avoiding answering pointed questions with yes or no answers. And this is so valuable for us to understand because it tells us exactly exactly how an organization like the EMPD can be.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
We did it once and it was big. We did it twice and it was bigger. Now the Motor Select Demo Deal Dash is even bigger than ever before. And it's happening this Friday and Saturday only. Get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist on over 1,800 demo models from 26 leading brands. Backed by SA's largest and leading dealer network. 2 days only. Visit motorselect.co.za to shop the demo range now.
In ancient Corinth, as Alexander the Great approached the philosopher Diogenes and offered to grant him any wish, Diogenes simply replied, "Stand a little out of my sun." At Plus 94 Research, we believe in illuminating the path to informed decisions. By removing the shadows of uncertainty, we let the light of data-driven insights shine through. Don't let assumptions cloud your vision. Step into the light of clarity. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision-making.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
On 702 011 883 0702. Here, are you in a long-term relationship and are you happy? What have you done? What measures have you put into place to make sure that that happiness stays and is sustainable and you can keep it for quite some time? We're speaking to Lee Joy, relationship coach, and this is on the backdrop of a recent report by CNBC that showed that partnerships spanning 40, 50, even 60 years who are sharing advice on love, marriage, and staying happy together. So that's what we are reflecting on. We're looking at advice behind long and happy relationships, what long married couples want you to know. I suppose we go around picking up advice, tips about relationships. So we'd like to hear from you now. And Lee, let's come back to you. I was just thinking, but before that, maybe let me just not neglect some of the messages that have been coming through on 072 702 1702. This one says, good morning, Thabo. Spirituality is very important in a relationship. My husband and I are of the same faith. We pray together. This month on the 14th, we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary together. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is amazing. Well done. Congratulations to you. I suppose sharing faith does do something to a couple. If you believe in the same thing, it does help a lot. On 072 702 1702.
Hey, Thabo and your guest. My apologies. I joined late. I missed her name. My late husband, he loved impromptu getaways, weekends, and he would send an email and say, "Hey, babes, how about tomorrow? We go away, we'll come back Sunday," that sort of thing. What I then would to do after we've come back, obviously during the trip, I also, thank him. But after the trip, I would send WhatsApp, a voice note, or, from the office, and I would say, "Hey, love, wow, I so enjoyed this. Thank you so, so much for making it possible for us." And just pick up on a few things that he specially did and point them out and thank him. And then also on his birthdays, I never omitted spoiling him, not just expect to be spoiled. Thank you. Hey, Tembile.
Tembile, that is just so sweet. I love that. Lee?
Timbile, I'm so sorry to hear that your husband is late, and I'm so grateful for you and happy for you that you had such a beautiful connection, where I can hear there was this deep respect and need to keep things fresh and fun.
Yeah, and also I think reciprocity. I don't know. I'm not qualified to speak about advice on long-term marriages and relationships, Lee. But I think is there something to be said about reciprocity, so that someone doesn't pour in all that they have, but they never get to receive anything?
Yes, I mean, the love languages are brilliant with that, right? Gary Chapman, where he speaks about the 5 different love languages. Let me see if I can remember. Acts of service, gifts, physical touch, quality time, and I can't remember the first one.
Yes.
But that's how we pour into each other, you know, in understanding what your partner's love language is. And then you're able to point to them the way that they can feel it and read it. Often, Thabo, people will give the love language that they most like. So let's say acts of service is the husband's love language, and he'll run around doing all these things to help and be like these acts of services. And she'll be like, you don't love me. You don't ever show you love me. And he's like, are you kidding me? I did this, and this. And she was like, yeah, but you know, I like it when you're affectionate and when you spend quality time with me, you put down your phone, and so there's been some really beautiful shifts in relationship when I've helped them to identify their love languages, so that they can words of affirmation. That's the first one.
Yeah.
So that they can really speak each other's language, basically, and fill each other's cups.
Is love a choice? Because this also came up where they said that love is a choice you keep making. Is it a choice, or do we have to depend on fate to assign to us our loved ones?
I think that we fall in love, and I don't know if that's a choice. I think, I don't know if in the beginning whether it's a choice, but I think there comes a time when one's like, okay, cool, I want to be with this person. This is my person. And then we choose. And then that choice becomes a daily thing. I mean, I remember I'd spoken to a doctor a number of years ago, and she said, Lee, you know, I see in my practice that the couples are choosing a love and marriage every single day because the thought of divorce comes up, you know. But they choose to stay. They choose to love. They choose to do the next right thing.
And I mean, then one of the things that they spoke about was that several couples also talk about not keeping score, something that is very difficult to do, especially when you are hurt, feeling disappointed, feeling let down. At times, you just want to tell someone that you always do this. How detrimental is that to a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to what you mentioned earlier about reciprocity, and that you don't want to be the one that's always pouring into a relationship and the other one's just surfing, you know, or skating or whatever. You know, they're not really pouring into the relationship. But I know that once again, if you're looking at keeping score, and it is very detrimental to the relationship, because I think it makes us blind to what is being done in the relationship. So I think those robust, we were speaking about communication earlier, those robust conversations are so helpful, where one can say, you know, I love you in this and this and this way, and these are the things. If we use that sandwich approach, this is how much I love you. Thank you for these, and these things. This is what would really speak to my heart if you could do this, and then how can we do that together? Maybe I need to remind you, or maybe you know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Lee, I mean, does it matter? Because we always stereotype genders in relationships, and we always say men are more prone to do this, women are more prone to do this. To what extent do those stereotypes work against us? And just to make an example, we'll always say that women are always emotional and men are not. But truly, at times, it really drills down to an individual. It comes down to an individual. You may find a man who does this and generally doesn't fall within that category of those stereotypes. Is it helpful to do away with stereotypes in a relationship?
That's a good point. I think that as couples and humans have evolved, the role of roles within a relationship has shifted. So let's say 2-3 generations ago, it was the woman's job to be at home and take care of the family, and it was the man's role to earn the income. Things have shifted because women have gone into the workplace, and some men have very importantly picked up some of the household duties and raising children, that kind of thing. So yes, I think to some degree we are doing away with what do you call it?
Stereotypes.
Stereotypes. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think also, Thabo, that there's also something about, the masculine wanting to hunt.
Yes.
And wanting to feel like they're winning something. And I think that a woman can a partner, the feminine, can offer those opportunities. And I think it's important to offer those opportunities throughout the lifespan of a relationship, so that a man doesn't just catch you once.
Yes.
And it's not a game. You're not playing games with his heart. It is a game, like it's playful, but you're not playing games with someone's heart. Do you know the difference?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we can to some degree do away with the stereotypes, but in other ways still honor the primal need of the genders.
Yeah. Let's talk about a controversial one that was also posited in this big repository of advice on love and long-lasting happiness. Forgiveness. That's a very difficult one. And how do you know what to forgive and what not to? In this instance, they speak about the role that forgiveness plays in marriage that lasts a lifetime, and what does real forgiveness actually require. And these couples whose advice we are taking and looking at today, they also spoke about the centrality of forgiveness in a relationship.
Yeah, there's often times that that me and myself and, with my clients, I've had to learn to forgive myself. I've done it's not always necessarily about forgiving the other person. Sometimes I've done some really appalling things, or my clients have done really appalling things. And when we harbor that, a grudge against ourselves, that's just as detrimental as not forgiving the other. I know there's that term, I forgive but I won't forget, and I disagree. I think one must forget, because I think that otherwise you may forgive, but you just still harp on it by remembering it, if that makes sense.
But also, the danger is knowing what to forgive and what not to forgive, especially in a very toxic culture that we are living in, as we are speaking about GBV and all related sorts. There's also danger in speaking about forgiveness, or perhaps it needs to be qualified to say, whilst you forgive, you don't need to stay. But then,
exactly.
And yet that works against the long-lasting happy relationship, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, if you're talking about toxicity and abuse and that kind of thing in a relationship, then, I still believe, the Bible teaches us to forgive, right?
Yeah.
Forgive ourselves, forgive, each other. But I think you're right. It also, it says, love one another as you love yourself. So if I love myself, I know that I'm going to put boundaries down that are self-protective, right? Forgiveness is such a big thing for me, and I love doing that work with my clients because it's a three-way thing. Often my clients are actually crossed with God, and they've got to go through that forgiveness process. Then there's a process of self-forgiveness, and then the process of forgiving another. So, yeah, I think forgiveness is vital to having a healthy relationship with ourselves, with God, and each other.
Yeah. It's 12 minutes to 12 o'clock. My guest, Lee Joy, Relationship Focus every Friday. around about this time. And today we're looking at advice that has been given by some couples who've been together for quite some time, 40, 50, 60 years. They were sharing the advice of being in a happy relationship, and this was on CBC. So we thought, let's share those pearls of wisdom with you. And if you've got some, feel free to do so on 072 702 1702.
The G20 Summit is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
Hi, I'm Julian Ribeiro. At 51, I qualified as a professional chef and opened Sadie's Bistro in Marshalltown, named in honor of my grandmother, who believed that food is love. By bringing my restaurant to the historic Main Street Mining District, I'm contributing to the city's regeneration and celebrating Joburg's diversity through food.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie, Babize Bonke champion Julian Ribeiro will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugs Mhlungu at 8 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bets and Aziz Shege be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
The crazy store's got deals galore and everything you need. From tinsel presents, wrapping, and a star for your Christmas tree. We've got all sorts of games and sports, many toys to buy. Stationery, arts and crafts, come on and don't be shy. No need to panic shop, we're your one-stop Christmas spot. Your table will be dressed and you will not be stressed. When Christmas Eve is here, you'll want to sing and cheer. I got everything at the crazy store and I can't wait for next year.
Hey, you never know what you might find this Christmas.
You could spend 10 minutes on social media or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 GWMP series, 54-year-old Amos now pays only 1,004 Rand a month. And for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser, 55-year-old Andre pays just 776 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Your text messages on 072 702 1702. My guest, Lee Joy, relationship coach. Let me just quickly read this fabulous message that you've just sent through. It says, morning, on Sunday it will be our 39th wedding anniversary. We've had very tough moments and life gives many crises, but the bottom line is that you have to have similar set of values from the start. You have to want more or less the same things in life, and then also we do change. So if we are fortunate enough to grow in the same direction, then that's great. But you do not have to stay together for the sake of some weird happy ever after notion. I have to prompt my husband to woo me now and again. We are good friends and we have good laughs. But after so many years, I swear, you have to want to be together and have adventures. Otherwise, what's the point? This comes from Celeste. Lee, your thoughts on this?
Thanks, Celeste. I love that. I love the wooing and the having fun and also acknowledging that the values are so important. I think that having a spiritual connection is based in values. And often is the pulling factor, if I can put it that way, that pulls couples through difficult times. So I absolutely agree with the values. And also choosing to be together. There's a really sweet quote at the end of this article where the person, where is it now? I asked a 94-year-old woman what advice would she give to her younger self. And she said, when in doubt, love. The world can always use more love.
I love that. That's fantastic. That's fantastically, Lee. But there are also everyday chores of life that could perhaps be so mundane that they interrupt the love, they interrupt the airy-fairy, they interrupt the lightness that we need to fill. How do you navigate around those? And I'm talking about dishes, bills, painting walls, the garden, the pool that needs to be cleaned, the grumpy days where you don't feel like talking to anyone. Those are real stuff that happens every single day. Is the key not navigating around those, because those can be some serious booby traps?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the article speaks about ironing out the small things before they become big things. I think that communication, again, is so vital. If your partner's grumpy, to say, hey, have I done something to upset you, and if I have, when is a good time to talk about it, where it can be a loving conversation. Or, hey, I see you having a tough day, can I be there for you in some way? I am determined, Tabo, to make washing dishes and cleaning pools sexy. I always tease my partners, or our pool looks amazing. His dad was very famous. He was the guy that invented fiberglass pools. So my partner is like a pool specialist in his own way. And I just say he's so sexy as a pool cleaner. So I can see he gets like a cheeky little grin on his face.
And
so I think it is being playful. Sorry to interrupt. It is playful, being playful around the mundane things. It brings us back to communication, back to partnership, back to friendship.
And I suppose a little bit of ourselves has to be surrendered, and not necessarily you giving up your entire personality. But there are some things where you need to know that I can't want to be totally myself all the time and somehow deny this person an opportunity as well to be themselves all the time. I need to give in at some point, and it needs to be a give and take. Lee?
Totally. I mean, I think they speak very powerfully, and the work that I do with couples around creativity and having your own life, being your own person, is very important for a healthy relationship. But more to your point is that how do we allow somebody to be themselves? If they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day, and let them have a bad day. Say, I'm here for you and I love you, and if you need anything, I'm here for you. But I agree, just not always having to be right, or never really about being right, and rather more about being loving.
Lee, before we say goodbye, there are some beautiful lyrics from a song by James Ingram and Perry Austin, and it's called How Do You Keep the Music Playing? And the music is love in a relationship, in this instance, metaphorically. And one of the stanzas say, if we can be the best of lovers, yet be the best of friends, if we can try with every day to make it better as it grows, with any luck, then I suppose the music never ends. Your details, Lee, how do people reach you?
Beautiful. On WhatsApp on 079 525 8991, and then I'm leighjoy.co.za.
Always lovely talking to you, my friend. Lee Joy, relationship coach, was joining us for that very important conversation on relationship focus. 3 minutes to 12.
Your uncle says buy the other brand. He also still uses a Hotmail address. You do you. You do Mini. The Mini Countryman. Available from 9,899 Rand per month with Mini Select Finance. Visit mini.co.za to book your test drive. Select offer only available from Mini Financial Services, a division of BMW Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Offer exclusively applies to the Mini Countryman. Initiation and service fee apply. Offer linked to the current prime rate, calculated on a 10% deposit, 48 monthly installments, final GFV payment, and 80,000 kilometer contract limit. Changes to the deal and optional extras will impact finance offer. Offer valid until 31 December, subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply.
Dad, can you pass me the thing?
The thing? Which thing? The one on the desk or the one in the car?
No, the thing. The small one. The thingamabob.
Ah, the thingamajig.
Yes, that's it.
Stop speaking in thingy. At Redford House Schools, we teach clarity, precision, and the confidence to own your voice. Shape your future best self. Search Redford House Schools online. An inspired school.
Building a life across borders starts with choices. Visas, a second passport, citizenship, your child's education abroad. And sometimes those choices can be overwhelming. For 30 years, Sable International has simplified global mobility, including cross-border tax, forex, and wealth management, helping you make the right choices with expertise and care. Build your future beyond borders. Visit us at sableinternational.com.
Coming up
on the Midday Report.
Jane Dutton is standing in for Mandy Wynn at 12 to 1 Midday Report. Good afternoon, Jane. What's coming up?
Good afternoon. Listen to this. Crime intelligence boss, Dumisani Kumalo, is back at his desk.
Wow.
That's despite fraud, corruption charges. That means he can enter any crime intelligence office.
Oh, my goodness me.
Quite something, right? Kunu is back. He's going to continue explaining, why he disbanded the PKTT at the rate that he did. Kusatu turns 40. Is it still relevant to workers with its dwindling membership and its cozy relationship with the ANC? And the Facebook rapist Bester is back in court. And also Floyd Chivambu is going to be laying out what his plans are for the party. And again, is that relevant?
We'll be listening anyway between 12 and 1. Midday Report. Loved spending time with you. Thanks for indulging me. Have a lovely one.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with breaking news this hour. Loyiso Masugu has been elected as the ANC's Johannesburg leader after a closely fought contest against Dada Morero. Her victory was confirmed a short while ago at the party's 16th regional elective conference at the CW.